Okay, welcome to the penultimate round of the Rilton Cup 2023-24. We are looking at the board between Blomqvist and Sokolovsky. What can we say about this game?
Well, maybe we should first just give a little bit the situation of the tournament. We have on the first board, we have Edvin Trost against Vitaly Sivuk, and they have 6 points. So on the second board, where we have Blomqvist and Sokolovsky, they have half a point less. So I think one of the reason I wanted to say that to start with is the question is, do they want to win this game? How eager are they?
That was my idea to get to this.
I see.
This is a very important game for them because they need to win, both
exactly.
Of them. Yeah.
So because I think it was 3 players, is that correct? That has got half point behind. We can take a look here. Yes, 4 players. We have Edvin Trost against Sivuk on the first board, 6 points. Then we have Erik Blomqvist, Sokolovsky, 5.5, and then Niko Chazin and Jair Parkov, 5.5. And then we have some 5 points players below that we will come to later on. But what is interesting now is that now it's the fight for the Rilton Cup trophy. And of course, that is something you want to have. So I think if you want to be in this race on the first 3 board, maybe not, of course, Sivuk and Trost, but if you want to be in this race, you need to win. And I think that Erik Blomqvist, not the least, the best Swedish tournament, we have, the most prestigious one. Of course, you want to win.
Of course.
So,
he had a tough game yesterday, didn't he?
Yes.
What can we say about that game?
What was interesting was that I think that he played Edvin Trost. Blomqvist was white. Normally, Blomqvist is quite strong in the opening. But in this, the feeling was that Trost had made a better preparation. Because quite early on, even though it was roughly equal, all the time through the game, it was the feeling that it was easier play for black, for Edvin. And Blomqvist, he was thinking, always, trying to find a way to restrict the possibilities for black. And he managed. He played very solid, I must say, in these critical moments of...
if you only look at the moves, he was solid. But if you look at the time consumption, he was in a terrible state. Because he had used so much time. And he had to make tough decisions with little time, and that's when the mistakes come. Exactly. Even when you're such a solid player as Erik. So I think he was actually, he wasn't losing, but he was in a very, very dire strait, so to speak. But he managed to survive that, and that's very important. And maybe if he can win today with white, he was white yesterday, actually, so he will definitely be black in the last round. So, but if he can win this, he has a chance.
And I also must say that this is what a strong player does. It is that in these difficult games where you are under pressure and so on, that you can just keep up holding the positions. Yeah. Even you have, problems in finding active moves and so on, you just manage to keep up. So that in that sense it was impressive, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Even though he was so pressed, and it's so easy to slip up or do something slightly desperate or something, but he was making all these small moves, holding the position and countering any tries by Trost. So that was very strong. So maybe we should... we can see it's a Spanish game. We will get back to it later. Let's go to the first board and check out what's happening. Okay, so Edvin has started by playing e4. And I don't know where his opponent is because he hasn't started playing, obviously.
No.
So...
I guess what can happen sometimes is that they are preparing to the last minute. Could be. The other thing, don't forget that as we have these new rules that you have to be checked before you enter the venue. Sometimes it's a long queue to get in. So
we should talk about that a little bit because every day here there is a long queue like when you check into an air flight, and people are waiting and they are being checked with these electronic devices, and they have to, you know, show what they have in their bags and everything.
And pockets and clocks.
And it takes time, and it's quite often quite a long queue. And if you end up in one of those queues, you can be delayed for the games, actually.
Yes.
So we'll see. Well, he will surely come up here. So I think we can move down a little bit. We can go to board 4. And
we have Chase in first, huh?
Well, but no moves.
Is there no? Oh, okay, there are no moves. I see. Okay. Sorry.
The red dot. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. So here we have Bartosz Soczko, who is a veteran of the game, playing against another not so young Pierre Baillet. I think I said before that he was 25. I think he's more like 35.
88, born 88.
Yeah. So he's 35. And an interesting game, and we see it's the London system.
Two grandmasters,
yes,
with big routine.
Yeah.
Yes, but Bartosz actually, it was interesting yesterday because he had a very exciting game.
Yeah. This was really a good game. One of the good games yesterday.
So actually, it seems like he is. You know, I don't think he has had the best of luck, actually, because it's felt that he has, in some of his games, have been closer to get more points that he has received so far. But of course, as always in open tournaments, if you win the last 2 rounds, you will be in the top anyway.
Yeah.
So this is crucial, of course, for him to win, not the least as he is 1 point behind Trost.
Well, he had this horrible start in the first round.
Yes.
And he's still trying to make up for that bad start. But he's a very solid player, and he's not going to start doing anything desperate. We can see that. He's playing a very solid opening. The London system is, rock solid for white. Maybe not the most adventurous opening, but it's certainly a good tournament opening to play in a situation like this.
But also what has happened actually is lately there has been some new ways of playing the London that can be more active.
Yeah.
So not the least as many black players that get a bit too ambitious.
Could be. Yeah.
Then you can have the chances to actually go for an attack, with white. So it is not without danger.
That's not what I think Bartosz is focusing. I think he wants a long game. We've seen it like yesterday, but one of the things I noticed yesterday was how important it is to defend. We saw many defensive points, draws and sometimes wins, like Sivuk, who plays on board 1 now. he was defending all the game, and then in the end he countered and won. And we saw
Praneeth, not the least.
Praneeth completely lost. And he even got a draw in a position where he was worse because he had fought so well that the opponent thought that, well, I cannot win against this guy, something like that.
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, because the computer says it's actually +1 for white, but he takes a draw. Probably he was tired. So that's one of the things. If you defend well, you also tire your opponent. You frustrate him. He cannot win, and he has a good position, and he might suddenly get careless and throw the game away. So lots of strong defensive play yesterday. We'll see if we see the same today. I don't know. But I think we should jump. This game will develop later on. So let's go to one of our legends here. Eduardas Rosenthal is playing black.
Yes.
In the Catalan against Ido Gorstein, who is a young guy from Israel. And we have one of these. Let's see the opening here. It's maybe not the most common. So we start off with a d4 here. D4, knight f6, c4, e6, and we have g3. Very popular in this tournament.
The Catalan has been one of the favorite openings by many of the top players.
But it's a good opening for white because you if you play it reasonably well, you will get some pull. You get some. And you don't take many risks. It's not so easy. You don't get any very, attacking lines against you. It's more positional. I think that's the attraction. So d5, knight f3, and Rosenthalis plays what I said was the best move. I think d takes c4 is probably the best move. Bishop g2, and we see this bishop d7 idea again. The idea is to counter this bishop on g2 here.
With bishop to c6, and of course, if possible, sometimes also with b5 to have a support to that pawn. What is it? I can just say what is interesting. We said that before when it comes to Rosenthalis that he very rarely loses any games. Because plays so solid and so safe. Yeah. On the other hand, that also makes him very rarely that he wins any tournament, not at least sole winner.
Well, he wins tournaments also, but
quite often I think it is shared because he will always with no risks. It's difficult to win in open tournaments.
Yeah, it's true.
But now he's coming up, and this can be a critical game because if some of the players win, they are ready to go for the title maybe. Let's see.
It's true. But we also have to think about age, of course. Rosenthalis, I think he is, I don't know exactly how old he is, but close to 60, I would say. So he has to conserve his energy.
Yes. Cannot
play like Trost, fighting game. Has to find some maybe calmer moves, calmer variations. But he has a very good style because this type of style never grows old. You can always, if you play good, strong positional chess like he does, you can play long time. So in the game, White played knight e5, which is a way to counter Black's plan. Black is okay to exchange his bishop for a knight. So you lose the pair of bishops, but you get your pieces out.
And here, of course, there has been discussions if you should take on c6 to give a weak pawn on c6, a triple pawn on the c file.
Yeah.
But of course, the problem is that you lose your best bishop. And as White,
suddenly you have some weaknesses over here, and Black does not have a bishop to go there, but he can attack with the queen maybe. And I think this type of position is generally considered to be about equal.
Yes, exactly.
That's the general idea.
Assessment, of the position.
So keep the bishop. Castles.
And here, of course, it's a trick. If you take with the queen on d4, you will have take on c6 check, and then you lose the queen. Huh? Yeah. Because you can take on c6 with check and then the queen. And if you take with a knight, it is the b7 pawn that is falling, and then you have some structural good position abilities for White.
Then it looks really good for White, I would say,
because then pair of bishops.
So he didn't do that.
Of course not.
No, he played queen d7, very solid. Protects the knight, so you don't get and you prepare for moves like rook d8 maybe. I don't know if queenside castling is ever possible, but probably that's not what you're going for. At least not Rosenthalis. I think. But
for example, after rook d8, then you can take on d4 and play c6, or even knight f3 and take on d1.
Yeah, so at some point, White has to decide what to do here to protect. So and he did. He played e3.
Yeah, that's a logical move.
Yeah. And now this is the position.
And a little bit it is like this, that if White would have the chance to play like knight d2 and take on c4, then White has good chances for an advantage due to the pair of bishops and the long diagonal of the bishop on g2 down to b7. But Black will try to find compensation somewhere. And normally it's actually that you try to keep the pawn on c4 to get some material compensation.
True.
Otherwise, you need to do something else to disturb this very easy play for White.
Yeah, if White is allowed to develop everything and also take the pawn here on c4, then White is clearly better, I would say.
Yeah.
So Black has to find some idea how to counter this.
And it could be like rook b8 sometimes to go for b5.
Actually, the most played move in this position
is long castle.
Long castle.
Okay. Yeah.
And the next most played move is rook d8, and then comes rook b8. So we can see either you focus on the d file or you try to play with b5. As you said, you have to have something. You cannot give White everything. And castling, of course, is you develop very, very fast, and suddenly you start to play maybe ideas like e5 could happen. And there is also the idea of maybe go for a very quick attack on the king side. You could play h5, h4 and just go berserk and try to use the fact that White has no knight here on f3. Normally you have a knight here, right? On this square. But without that, this attack could be annoying, you know. It's
But of course, as you lack the bishop, the white squared bishop,
yeah,
you have a very strong defender in the bishop on g2.
that's true.
So
But
you have to take
once you open the h file, somehow the queen, you know, you play this, maybe the queen comes here, the queen goes here, and suddenly it comes down to h2. So there are ideas, you know.
Of course, there are different possibilities, but I believe that normally with black, you either try to keep the c4 pawn, or you go for a long castle and try to play with e5, even though this other possibility with h5.
Actually, h5 is one of the moves played here. It's number 5 on the list.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It looks a bit strange to me, but okay. Well, when I say strange, I mean, I think there are other moves that feels more normal.
And we got rook d8, which is not as let's say daring as castling queenside. If you castle queenside, then you have the idea of maybe playing h5 at some point. Now with rook d8, I think he's not going for h5 because then he cannot castle. So we will probably see something more positional, but he definitely has the idea to play b5 because after b5 and a6 you can secure the pawn on c4. So b5 is an idea. I don't know what white should play here. Should you play a move like a4? Is that bad, or what do you think?
Or
maybe
is
then
it
e5
queen a4?
Queen a4 also possible.
To go for the c4 pawn?
Absolutely.
To get out of this, also e5, outrule that one. So I'm not sure what to play after queen a4.
Let's find the move. What do you think? What could be the move here? Well,
because if white has got the possibility to take on c4 with the queen, most likely you have chances to have a little bit better position. Even though you have, you know, if queen a4, bishop d6, take on c4, then h5 and go for attack might be dangerous because you have hardly developed any of the. But
I don't like the fact that you have played rook d8. Then it looks very strange.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah, true. So what do you play on?
But yeah, I don't know. I was looking at you know, a little bit of a strange move here. What about a move like this?
Yes,
because you're targeting this c2 square.
And if you take on a7, well, then I know. Wait.
And then queen takes b7. Maybe?
Yeah, exactly. That was my idea. Yeah. How is that position?
No, let's have a look. So this move,
and then it must be knight c2.
Must. I don't know.
Okay.
It's one of the moves.
What other? Otherwise, white would play knight to a3. I think.
Yeah, but you could play like some, you know, like b5, c6, put the knight on d3 or something, and just you know, because it's equal material, so b5 is a possibility, I would say. But if you go here, because that was the thing, then you have this trick here, but maybe
95,
this is okay.
a 95. How is this?
It's complicated.
Yes.
He didn't play queen a4, so we can just forget about this. Queen e2 was played.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we have it. Queen e2.
Because then after knight b4, you know, you don't take away.
I think
you can take on c4.
I think
always.
queen a4, knight b4, queen a4, knight b4. It looked quite good for black, I think. Somehow there were many possibilities.
And sometimes you play knight a5 in these positions just to cover up on c4.
Yeah.
But I guess the problem is that you can just play bishop d2.
Right. Yeah.
In this line. Huh?
Yeah. So we can see that in some very top games here, they have played e5 here.
Okay.
Very.
That is instructive, of course, because if you take on e5, the knight on e5 will protect the c4 pawn. So that was important, maybe. And take on e5.
You could take on c6, queen takes, and take on e5.
Yes.
But then black keeps the c pawn, and you have weakened your king side.
Exactly. Even knight e4 is and knight g5.
I like this for black. I like this type of play because you take away all these cattle and torture things with this bishop always threatening, and you make it very concrete.
But can you play, for example, rook d1 or?
Yeah, it looks like a move to me.
Because if you take on d4, it will be queen pawn take, and it will be a check.
Yeah. So here you need to find something, but maybe there is some move. I don't know. But this should be something they have looked at.
Yes. Look at the time. We have what are the times here?
Yeah, I have to go. Then you have to go back.
Yeah, you can see.
We can see.
Okay, white is completely prepared.
White is prepared, and Rosenthalis
is probably prepared as well.
I would say prepared,
but more about thinking about which version to go for.
He hasn't used a lot of time. I think it's good to use some time because if you play, rapid, and then suddenly you think for 10 minutes, then you have given your opponent some clues about where you are in your preparation. So it's good to mask it a little bit.
Can you play b5? It looks a bit dodgy, but
in this position,
I guess you can play b3 even and take on b5 if the move.
I guess a4 is a possibility
as well, and a6, and
and then later maybe you play b3 or b3 immediately.
It doesn't look so good, I think.
Well, the problem is that white gets a lot of developing moves attacking, and you have to defend, and if it crumbles, suddenly white has an open a file. Suddenly the bishop becomes very strong here. I don't like that's what I don't like.
E5
so much.
looks like at least it's a challenging move, but he played knight d5 here, huh? No?
Yes, he played knight d5.
No, what was happening here? Is this the position?
No. Let's see. He played e5. Queen takes. Take, and now queen b5. Bishop e7, queen b7.
Wait, okay, go back. This is obviously preparation because white is playing instantly the moves, Very interesting.
Yeah. But we can see here that this seems to be some sort of a main line in this sideline. Yes. Sideline. It has been played by both Tomaszewski and Andreikin.
I see, okay. So it's a preparation, everything.
Yeah. But here something happened. In this position, okay, black has tried rook b8, knight b4, and knight d5. But here Rosenthalis played bishop e7. We'll just have a quick look with the computer to see. Well, it actually gives the move bishop e7 is as good as the other moves, I would say. And then there was queen takes, and knight d5, and e takes d4. And all these moves have been okayed by the computer, so to speak. So most likely this is preparation from both sides.
They're moving fast, yes.
Yeah. And this seems also to be preparation, but we can look at it without the computer, because this is the type of position I think you can evaluate. And
knight c3 maybe.
Yeah, knight c3 looks.
Because the idea is that if you take with a knight, you take with a pawn, and then you're ready to go for bishop to c6. Huh?
Right.
So because I think that white needs to be fast here before black has got the chance to because the pieces are quite strong in the center, the knights. So knight c3 is a move I like at least.
Yeah. Yeah. In general, one of the ways to battle with knights against bishop is to be very active with the knights and jump around a lot before the bishops have sort of gotten the control.
Maybe knight c3, c6.
Yeah, we can look at it. This move, yeah. This is very solid. But how is this position?
Yeah.
Let's say you take.
I take. Rook take.
Rook takes.
Take on d5 maybe even.
Yeah. And now we make a move.
And my point with this was that it is black has at least got some.
Yeah, he has this check here, and he has also this move. So it's the question here where to go, but maybe you can just play. Just put it here. But black seems to be quite okay here,
Yeah,
right?
well, if white has got the chance to play rook fd1 and put pressure on a d5 pawn, I would be a little bit worried actually. And it's not clear also what to do with the black king, because you do not want to castle normally, because then the king will go away from the center.
I think you will have to castle here because
Yes.
it's too dangerous.
No, I just say that is one.
But there is a setup where you castle. You could put the bishop on f6. The knight could jump back to e6, which is a protected square, and then you can push the pawn. And you have lots of... I mean, it's not clear what's happening.
No, because what you do then is that white has got a pair of bishops, but black has got quite strong pieces. The knight is not bad on e6, even though you have 3 pawn islands. They are challenging in a way, because they can, the d pawn can be pushed to d3
and also these pawns down here, they are not super strong.
No,
and especially this one here, the b2. Once the bishop comes to f6, you have this.
Still, it feels like, but I think that Rosenthal, he likes the end games. You see many long end games. So in that sense, this is in his style. But objectively, I guess that white is slightly better. I think, from objective point of view. But it will not be easy.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time with this game. Maybe we should go back up again,
now
because we
want to see the top game, of course. Yes.
So we want to see what's happening here.
I see.
And so we saw Edwin do e4, and now we have quickly reached the Roy Lopez, or the Spanish, as we say in Swedish. e6, a6, I mean, bishop a4, knight f6, castles, bishop e7. And now Edwin plays my old openings. I played so many times.
Me too. I followed you.
You followed in my steps.
No, you know that Wedberg Tom was a little bit of my idol when I was, because you are about 15 or 18 years older than me.
Yeah.
So you are always one of those that you looked up to. So when you played this line, I started to play it as well. So.
I can tell you, I started playing it because I saw Vlastimil Hort. He played this line, and I think there was in one of the informants, the magazine that was so popular in those days. He had 4 games in a row in one of those, and he won all of them, and so that was my main inspiration.
So can you, as a master of this opening, tell us about what are the ideas for white? Why do you first go back and then take? Looks so strange, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. But the idea is that the black moves, if we go back to this situation when it starts, you could take here. You get the exchange variation.
Yes.
But then black can play f6, for instance, very popular way to guard the e5 pawn. And he doesn't have to put the bishop on e7. He can put it on d6. There are so many ways for black. So this is not a very good way. I mean, I think this is not a critical line for black. So you move back, okay? And then knight goes to f6, and you castle, and black plays this bishop e7. And now black pieces are maybe not optimal. And now you do, because white has only made normal moves that he would play also if he takes on c6. And
so what you could say that both the bishop on e7 and the knight on f6 are not perfectly placed.
Yeah, that's the idea, at least.
Yes,
that's the idea. What I think one very interesting thing with this line, because I played it so many times, at one time I just checked and I saw an enormous amount of games. I don't understand why I played it so many times, but now this type of play has become very, very popular, because you see it, in the Berlin, where white plays d3 and then takes on c6, and you get almost this position. And you see all these top games with Carlsen and so on. In those days when we played this line, it wasn't very popular. It was played very rarely.
The reason, again, is because today many players just want to avoid the main theory and all of those analyzed lines. So then you start to look at these more solid and more old versions, But okay, let's take a look. What has happened in the game?
But now Edwin played a move that I never played. I usually played d3 in this position.
And then knight d2, knight c4.
You have this idea. You put the pawn here. You put the knight goes here and comes to c4. Sometimes we play b3, bishop b2, or something like that. Even knight h4, knight f5, things like that. A lot of knight jumps. and sometimes you go with f4 afterwards. So lots of tricks. But he played another move here.
But it can be that things has developed also in this line.
It has.
From
it has.
our
Yes, it does, definitely has. But
Yes.
I don't. It has changed a little bit. And I think with the computers, people are analyzing it with the computers, and the old sort of standard moves are not maybe better than like rook e1.
Because one idea when I say this is that now, because one very common way to play with black is to put the bishop on d6, for example.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But here after d6, maybe you can play d4.
Yeah, this is one of the ideas. So you're flirting with the idea of playing, instead of d3, play d4. So this is actually one of the lines that was played in the old days was to play queen e1, here, which is basically the same
Because
idea.
the drawback with the rook on e1 is that you mentioned earlier that, after knight h4, that is a very standard move in the position, then you want to have the rook on f1 to be able to support the f2 to f4 move.
Yeah.
But now, this is not so interesting. Well, maybe it can happen, but then it would have been better to have the rook on f1. So let's see.
I think the idea with queen e1 is basically you cannot pin with bishop g4.
Also,
So you threaten, because in this position that we have in the game, bishop g4 is an option for black.
because then h3 will come, huh?
Yeah, then you play bishop h5.
And if I play g4,
Yeah, then you think about taking on g4 and playing that position.
but you don't do that, do you?
Well,
D3.
I've seen Johnny Hector do it in a similar positions.
But maybe not because it's good, because it's Johnny Hector, could also be.
Yeah, but when you're white, it's a bit annoying always.
It is, of course.
Because black has not castled.
But
So you can play queen up and then, castle queenside, and you have 2 pawns in an attack.
But for me, the normal move here is knight to d7 anyway.
Yeah, and that's what, and also, Sivuk is not Johnny Hector. He doesn't play those types of things. Okay. So knight d7 is the normal move, yeah.
And the reason for that is that you want to protect the e5 with f6.
Right.
And then you start to go like knight f8, knight e6, or knight c5, knight e6, or something like that. Just to put your pieces on good squares.
Yeah.
But after, we can see what happens, because there are, as always, pros and cons. So b3 comes, okay.
Yeah, this kind of standard. The alternative would be if you play this. And I've seen people play that now, this move, d4. But it doesn't give that much. I mean, you can just take here and you castle and you develop. The knight comes to c5 and so on. It's white might have a very slight advantage, but it's nothing big.
Yes.
So b3, I think I like that more. That's a more fighting move.
A little bit in style.
Because when I played this, what I like to do is just get the positional game, no theory, and just put pressure on e5, try to make black uncomfortable, and finally you break with f4 or something. We'll see what happens here. So b3, c5. This is also a common idea for black, and sometimes you can even later on have this idea, and with f6.
Because what you do now is that you give stability to to the center.
Yeah, you prevent
outruling d4.
Yeah.
And after bishop b2, then f6.
Yeah.
The risk is that the bishop on b2 gets what you say. It does hit on stone in the center. So,
but now I see that. Here we have some really tough play from Edvin's side, because he played knight h4,
threatening queen h5, and maybe even knight f5.
And now after g6 he plays f4. So this is very
He's
strong.
He's a tough guy.
He goes for it.
Let's see. He has actually, look at the time. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Here we have a preparation by Edvin.
Yeah.
Because Sivuk has already thought for 30 minutes.
But what's really interesting, just mention this, we have no master game with this position. So there is this, I mean, if it had been like, we have some games, it has been played before, but this is original stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. We can see if this has been played on Lichess. Now we're just checking the master games, the real games, so to speak. No, haven't even been played on.
So it's completely new.
Completely new. This is fresh from the...
But the normal move is
press.
to take on f4, of course. Otherwise, it is probably good for white, I believe, because you even threaten to play f5 here, maybe.
Yes, it's true, but I mean, you could consider a move like bishop d6. I mean,
Okay, after
it's-
f5?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's good.
Because f5 looks like a good move to me if you have the chance to play it, actually. So I think the critical, at least the critical line from my point of view, is to take on f4.
Yeah.
What is planned after that? Is it d4 to go for open up before the, or is it, what do you do?
I would think, just looking at it, that this is very sharp and double-edged. And I would
Yes,
be,
of
I
course.
would be surprised if this is very good for white, but maybe
Yes.
it is. But I would be a bit surprised because it looks a little bit
Yes.
dodgy
at least.
Yeah, a little bit dodgy maybe.
Mm.
Because as you said before, with the rook on e1, f4 is, yeah, it's not what you. Maybe.
Yeah, because I've seen this idea with f4 many times.
I mean, what is
but
the idea here now? Should you play some?
I mean, you cannot, if after d4, c take d4, cannot take with the queen even.
This move is
Take on e5.
Yeah, now this guy is hanging.
I mean, you cannot even take with the bishop because you
No,
take
there's a
and
queen
then it's
d4.
queen d4 check. You know, I think this looks horrible in a way.
So we have
Maybe
to, no,
knight. Okay, maybe is it knight c3?
Yeah, I think it's obvious that it's a preparation.
But
That doesn't mean it's so good.
No.
That only means that it's a preparation.
what about?
We can actually see them there sitting.
Yeah.
How do they look? What do you think? Do they look?
No, I think it actually looks like they are both full of energy
Yeah.
and totally into the position. So it's not like you can see that. And
They don't give anything away, right?
No.
So let's
The
just
poker face is on.
let's just see what the computer says in this position. Yeah, as we said, it's not so good for white. It gives -1 in this position, and it says take the pawn.
Yeah.
Um,
What if you go back? What does it suggest if you do not play f4?
yeah, normal.
Knight
moves.
c3. Knight c3
and
looks
things
like a
that.
normal move. Yeah.
But knight h4 that was played in the game.
I like that.
Do you like knight h4?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Always when you can make, but it is the f4, knight c3 now. I think you have chances after knight c3.
Yeah, of course. But this is more like we used to play it. I mean,
Yeah, but
you jump around a bit.
I quite like it, in a way, knight c3, because knight d5 is actually a little bit annoying, because what I have played many times is knight c3 and they play knight f8 or something, knight d5, bishop e6, and if you can take on e7, then the weaknesses after f4 and so on.
Yeah.
So that can be
that's true.
annoying for
Yeah,
black. So,
I agree. Yeah, it's not so clear.
but this is simply losing a pawn. Huh?
But there's a psychological element to this, and we can see it in the time consumption. White has used no time. He has signaled very clearly that this is my preparation.
Yes.
And black has used almost half an hour or more than half an hour. And he's facing this after only 11 moves. Yeah, it's a bit annoying, right? So
Okay.
you want what you think with black here is I want to try to get out of the preparation, and then you think, should I take on f4? But he has prepared, and it looks somehow it still looks a bit dangerous, right, after this move.
But maybe you can play queen f3 here.
Yeah, you can do that. But do you threaten to take? No. Yeah, maybe you do actually.
Yeah, that was.
But maybe just very simple move like this, because now if you take, there's g5 and you lose. This doesn't look very good. I mean, the knight is bad on h4. That's the problem. The knight is not doing anything. He took. He has guts.
Well, it's clearly the best move. So.
It's clearly the best move, but still, some people, sometimes you.
Yes, of course.
You feel. But what we've seen before, Sivuk is not. You cannot scare him.
No.
Because he knows that even if he's slightly worse and so on, he knows that there is still hope. You can just play moves and things will happen.
Let's look at Edvin now, because now he's playing knight c3 immediately.
Yeah.
So there is a preparation going on here, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously.
And then he goes up, signaling.
Let's see.
I'm fine.
Put up. Yeah, that's right. And it's 1.5 points
Deficit.
less. But what he's doing now also, that he's playing very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that Civic feels that this is, you know, you feel a little bit uncomfortable, you know.
Yeah, on the one hand, but as you said, black has a nice position here, I would say. So, and you know, simple moves. What if you
knight
go
d5?
here? And you go knight d5, okay. Yeah. Well, we can see here that there is a very strong move in this position. You go here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very annoying, obviously.
Queen c1.
Yeah, but then you can play g5.
Can you play knight f3?
Yeah, you can do that. But this is like the King's Gambit, you know.
This looks really
You can just play g5 because, yeah, this is not very nice to play. I mean, this is how you refute the King's Gambit. You take on f4, you play g5. This is the same thing.
But what you could say is that Civic has played slow openings so far in the tournament, and obviously, you know, Edvin wants to have a fight.
But you know, yesterday's game, Civic played excellently tactically in this game. You remember this fantastic trick he had with catching the queen with bishop d2 and bishop d3 in a line we thought we were looking at, and we thought it was so good for black, and white would win with this. So
go back to knight c3 just to see if there is, you know, what.
Yeah.
But is so much worse here in this position. Already almost 2 pawns.
We have to remember that Trost is only 16 years old. He hasn't played that many top level tournaments. Well, he's played a lot of strong players, but I'm sure he feels that you know, this energy, he wants to do something. Maybe he's over reaching a little bit with this. Playing a line, maybe he has played it on the internet or something like that, and he has had some good results.
In these bullet games.
Yes, in this bullet, he's a bullet expert, and but to me it looks like I wouldn't be very scared with black here, because you have good squares. A good square for the knight on e5. The knight on h4 is clearly on a bad square. I mean, you have to move it back at some point. No, I don't believe in this. But I think we should go to another game. We will see what happens.
Okay, interesting at least.
Yeah.
Also because Trost has been fighting quite good in this, so it will be.
But Trost is not new to having bad positions, because he's had many bad positions. So we don't have to worry so much for him. He will find his way. Okay, so here we have Eric, the seasoned grandmaster. He will be 34 this year, and. Very strong player. I've played him a number of times, and he always impresses me with excellent preparation and also with very good judgment.
Here I would play bishop d5.
Yeah, but we have to go back and sort of catch up.
Yes, of course.
So bishop a4 was played, knight f6, castles, bishop e7, and d3.
Yes.
The modern way.
Of course, avoiding all this kind of, what do you mean, more martial attacks and more dangerous, but more like, okay, let's go for the structure, and white is slightly better due to an extra tempo, and that's that.
Yeah, but it's quite interesting with the Riley Lopez positions, because one tempo does not mean so much, because maybe often white would have played d4 instead of d3 then, and then it's much sharper, and it's actually black getting more chances in these sharp lines. And there's so much theory, and most theoretical lines leads to equal game anyway, so why not play d3? I think d3 is a very good way for white to play here. You also avoid the open Spanish, which can be well, actually that was before instead of bishop castling. Bishop e7, yeah. Anyway, b5. also remember here now that after d3 always you have to check the e5
To
pawn,
take on e5,
so you don't lose that. Bishop c6 is actually a threat here.
Mm-hmm.
So b5 and d6 and
Mhm.
a4.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop d7 I think is one of the main moves.
What you do is that you cover up the b5 pawn.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There is an alternative here for white. You can play with a3 if you want to.
Yes.
Also possible. And so you play this move and then you put the knight on c3.
C3. We saw that earlier.
Yeah,
on
and
the
bishop on
tournament,
e3 and very simple development. And then you play. Nothing fancy. So, but here was a4, bishop d7, bishop e3, castles.
The question,
Maybe-
but if you just go back, the
Yeah.
question is, in the other move before, I just start thinking about why don't you play knight to a5 here?
In this position, instead of castling, here, you want to go here. Yeah, it's a possibility. I think you can always play this move, but white would pull back.
And then take on a4.
Yeah, this is possible. I don't think white does not necessarily have to take it back immediately. I think
No,
this is
okay.
the sort of the idea for white is, okay, you can take it. Eventually, I will round it up and take it. And in the meantime, I will enjoy my center and my squares for my pieces. And what is the knight doing on a5?
Yeah, of course. You get a pawn, but it is disorganization of the white pieces. So okay, no. I just thought that at least this is a line, but
Yeah, I don't think there is any. There is no immediate
refutation.
No,
Like that. No.
It's just. Yeah, you get the pawn, but how good is that pawn, basically?
Okay.
So, castling, taking, knight c3.
Yeah.
We've seen similar before.
And the idea is, of course, that you want to put pressure on this b5 pawn because that is the, weakness, you could say, that might occur in the position.
It's the only thing that sort of...
It's different.
Yeah, it's the only thing that you can attack. And now we get knight a5. And now it's different, of course, because you still have the b pawn, so you can push here. Knight d5.
Now, if you take on b3, you can take on a8. So that's a trick.
Yeah, the trick is that something happens over here. The queen is overextended. It has to protect and take here. So after taking, you have a check.
And then you take on b3 and you're a piece up.
Take this. Typical trick in these lines. You always have to watch out for these things. So instead, black took here. Take c6. And now if you go back to b3, I think black should definitely take.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if exactly, but it seems to be a good position for black.
Yes, agree.
Because it's a ruptured pawn formation and the pair of bishops and so on. So nothing to be happy about for... So bishop a2 and black plays c5. Preventing d4.
Also b4 might be a threat actually, to force the knight to go to b7 where it's quite often very badly placed.
Yeah. We can highlight that. Let's say black plays something I don't know what.
Rook e8 or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe king here play f5 something like that. Then you could think about playing this, and when the knight goes, maybe you even do this. And what's this? What's this guy doing here? It cannot go to this square and cannot go here, and
and it's not easy to see how it will be able to do anything.
No.
Okay, queen c7, knight d8, something you have to play like that, but you
play.
try to avoid that normally with black in these positions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Often in this position, it's very even game, but there will be some small difference, and having a knight on b7 can be one of those differences.
Yes.
That makes it difficult.
So c5 instead.
So in the game, in the game came c5, and now we'll see what happens. This is not. This has been played before, and they played bishop d5. So we're in theory here, and we have the great Alexei Shirov.
Yes,
has played this only a couple of years ago against Nihal Sarin. So a very high level game in 2021. and it continued exactly like this. And
What's
it's very normal.
What's interesting here also is that Blomqvist has only used 6.5 minutes beside the increment, but Sokolovsky has used actually all 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So it seems like Blomqvist is more into his preparation, while Sokolovsky have to think for himself.
I think Eric has got today a much better opening than yesterday.
Yes.
And I think he will be very happy with this, even though he doesn't have much of an advantage. But he has a little bit of an advantage, and he has a lot of time. It's the opposite from yesterday, where he had maybe a slight disadvantage and no time. It's much better to have time and position.
Question is now, should you play like c3? And now, when the knight is going back, should you play queen d2? Should you have little bit different options here with white?
I'm convinced he will play c3.
It looks very normal to me as well.
This looks very normal. And I mean, black's position is fine here, but
white. It's easier to play white. I think
it's easier.
Still, black has got some things to prove. Also, because the only move that would give counterplay is f5, but that can be also a bit risky,
Yeah.
So,
and especially with this bishop on d5, it doesn't look like something you can easily get away with here.
So probably black should play more slow, just to keep up.
I think for white, sort of the optimal play would be if he could get the a file. Let's say black exchanges queen. Exchanges, and you can move the queen up and take the a file, then it could be nasty for black.
One move for white is also to go with queen b3 sometimes.
Could also be an
because
idea.
if knight a5 comes, you go to c2, and then you're threatening to play b4 maybe again.
Yeah. There are always some disadvantages with this pawn on b5. Of course, black could at some point play b4, but it doesn't do much. It moves the pawn away, but it could be weak on b4 also after some exchanges. So it's not clear. I think white has a better game. Not much, but a little bit.
Okay, let's go to chasing the youngsters on board 3.
Yeah.
Here we have an interesting position, actually.
So we'll go back, and we have an English. We don't have many English games, so very interesting. Knight c3, d6. Maybe not the most common move. Knight c6 or knight f6 are, I guess, the most common, but d6 is certainly playable.
Or f5 sometimes even.
f5, yeah.
But then d6 is absolutely fine as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we see this. Take, knight c6, queen d2. Not the main line, but this has been played. It's not unseen, so to speak.
No, the idea here is that what white has managed to do is to get rid of one of the center pawns for black, and white will have this classical center with the pawn on e4 and c4, or at least that is a possibility.
Yeah.
And then you often play with the bishop, pawn on e4, the bishop on c1 goes to b2, and you just want to have a slow game where you can be slightly better due to this pawn structure in the center. And black has got different ways of playing here, I think, But normally you want to fianchetto your bishop on f8, and maybe swap off the c8 bishop for a knight or something, and if with bishop g4. But it will be interesting. Yeah, quite even, but a little bit different of ideas for white and black.
Yeah, this queen d2 move, for the untrained eye, looks like a strange move, but I think the main plan is of course always to fianchetto this here. I mean, we have to stress that, and this is also very good if black wants to fianchetto. So you have the queen on
which
the
is the normal, which is the normal way to proceed.
He has to do that. So the queen d2 moves.
And then the queen on d2 is fine, because then you are supporting the bishop on b2 and so on.
Yeah.
So okay.
So in the game there was knight f6, and now e4, grabbing space, g6, and we have a kingside fianchetto.
Okay, that was a little bit surprising.
Yeah, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I guess it's okay. I don't see any big problem.
No,
with
but otherwise, quite normal is that you play with f3.
Yeah. This would have been maybe the most normal move. But he played g3, fine. Bishop g7, bishop g2, castles, knight e2, okay. Knight e5.
Okay.
Putting a little bit, yeah. But this is kind of typical when you have the bishop on, because there is also now, there are some trick moves here, followed by something like this.
But you can actually play b3.
Yeah, he played, and then he played bishop
and
h3.
castle short side.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how good that was, because another possibility was also, I thought about playing in this position to play a bishop to.
No, you mean in this position?
Yes, to play bishop to g4 instead.
That's an alternative. Then there is queen e3. I think you can protect this square so it doesn't. But of course, this at least
it looks cool.
It doesn't look bad, and normally in these positions, what could be a bit worrying for black is that he has less space.
Yes.
So by doing this, you are sort of counteracting that, and you're also weakening the white king position because he has to play castles. And there was an exchange, and there we are in this position now. I would think that this is basically sort of equal game.
But the question is now in this position, what differs a little bit is how black should play, because quite often you play you want to play either f5 or you want to play c6 d5 or something like that. But white is quite good ready for that. So
No, white has more space and also quite easy moves, I would say. You can play bishop b2, you put the rooks in the center. Maybe at some point you even go with either with f3 just to protect, or knight d5, or even f4 at some point. But you have to watch about so you don't weaken yourself.
It's slightly more attractive to play white from that sense. But on the other hand, black has got a good, counter-attack position.
Yeah, right. And there are ideas for black also, Sometimes you can play something like h5, h4 and threaten to get in on the white squares, queen on d7 maybe, and things like that. And suddenly it's not so easy. So black could look for some counterplay here. So let's see what happened in the next game. We go to two of the veterans here, relatively speaking. So we have Bartosz Soczko, the Polish grandmaster.
We had this English, this London system. I mean, with bishop f4, and we said that, it will probably be a strategic fight.
Yeah, and I think in the beginning when they played the London, they usually played c3 here, and then black could go with queen b6 or knight c6 or something like that. But then they came up with this idea to play knight d2. I think it was Carlsen who started with this knight bd2, and not play c3.
Because then you can sometimes play c4 yourself.
Yeah, you keep the c4 option. And
but also to get a faster development, knight e5, knight f3, and these ideas as well. So
and maybe later you do c3, but you avoid some problems with the b2 square or pawn. So bishop d6 was played. I don't know if that's the most common move, but it's one of. I think knight c6 is maybe the most. This is this I think is the most natural move to play, and then I think maybe they do this, and then we get into the proper. Anyway, in the game there was bishop d6, and now white played this move. What do you think about that?
Okay. Well,
it's not fantastic, but it's. I think white is saying, you move the bishop, then I take the pawn, and you have to move it again.
But then the question is, take on f4, pawn take f4,
want to do that,
and queen to c7.
And queen c7. Yeah, interesting.
Because then you're actually threatening two pawns at the same time.
You can play like maybe g3.
Yeah, and take on c5.
Yeah, and then you play.
And then this c4 idea might come,
Yeah.
No, I just say that this is actually a possibility.
Absolutely. This is
maybe even
possible.
You can play knight after g3, knight g4, take on c5, g3, take on c5, bishop g2, okay, it's possible. Yeah, okay. No, skip it. Okay, fine.
Anyway, okay, so in the game,
so what happened?
He took back, natural move, bishop d3, also natural, knight c6, castles, and back again. Try to exchange.
Want to play e5.
Yeah, want to play e5, take.
And now you need to challenge.
C4, challenge. Castles, queen b3. Knight a5, queen c3. And we get these. That's interesting that he chooses to exchange his. He wants to keep the knight. He wants to get this tempo on the queen and try to play for some activity here.
The problem is, of course, that this bishop on c8, if it can come to the long diagonal from b7 or c6 down to g2,
it will be strong.
The bishop can be strong, But on the other hand, the knight on e5 that is a good square, and now you have your two knights ready for that. So
yeah. So in the game it was takes,
and you get a tempo on the queen. Yeah.
Rook ac1. This should be no big problem for black, I think.
No, but what to play here? This is a critical moment. Here you need to find a good move.
Yeah.
Because if you play bishop d7, probably knight e5.
What if you just play the most common idea here?
But then you play knight to e5.
Which one?
This one, yeah.
And let's say we exchange. You take with the rook.
And then maybe bishop,
Maybe play this move to prevent rook c7 and then bishop out. I think this should be okay for black.
I think white is slightly more pleasant, I think. I don't say it's much.
It's slightly
because you have the knight on c6. But you have the square c6.
But let's say, where do you go? You go...
C1. Yeah,
C1.
Okay.
Maybe we can just put this here.
Yeah, go with a knight to... yeah, exactly.
And now we play some move here. Maybe this one here.
Knight c6.
Maybe. Well, what's the plan?
The plan is simply to have a slightly...
Let's say we go here.
Yeah, e4.
And then we move the knight.
Maybe.
Maybe even here. With the idea of checking on e2.
Of course.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. If white gets this type of position and black is pacified, but in this position I think it's okay for black.
But it's fine.
But you have
it's
a
just,
point.
the only thing, I just say that this is a little bit of a critical moment. Because if black just managed to get out the bishop, black has got no problems. So here you need to make a decision. How do you do that in the best way?
Yeah. Of course.
So, because if you can, another possibility I thought about is also to play bishop d7. If you play knight to e5.
The same, this idea.
Yeah,
and
you
take.
swap, and bishop b5.
Yeah, it's about the same idea.
And then rook, for example, fc1, and then knight e5, and rook to,
and it's about the same idea. But I think what you said in the beginning with the bishop, that this bishop could be slightly better than a knight. It can also be worse. It depends, but there is a potential for that. So if black, for instance, manages to put the bishop on d5 and control e5, so there is e4, and then maybe a rook on the c file, suddenly black is better. So you have to watch out a bit. It's not so easy.
And also because the pawn structure is symmetrical, then it's all about the pieces. So in this position, like I said, if black just managed to get this bishop to a good square, like you said on d5, good for black, and this is what the battle will be about in the following moves. Okay,
let's jump to the next game. So we go to this game. I think we haven't seen at all, and here we have the young Indian Raya Rithwik playing against Kaido, the experienced Estonian player.
Kaido was winning against one other junior yesterday, William.
Yes, he beat the Swedish very promising junior from, is he from Gothenburg? Or? Yeah,
correct.
Okay, so knight f6, c4, g6, g3. Again, we see this g3 development, very popular. But this one is a King's Indian.
Interesting here is that Kaido is going for this type of King's Indian, and that means that he wants to have a fight. you know.
He's playing for a win with black.
Yes, he is. But I think actually that Raja, that lost yesterday, I must say, unfortunately, against Sivuk, you know, from having a better position.
Yeah.
You know, he, from me, my point of view, until the game yesterday, he is the player who has maybe, I think, played best so far in the tournament even, you know. So I would say that this is not an easy guy to just to play down for Kaido.
But it's nice to see Kaido going for it.
Yeah. He wants to win.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, sometimes, you know,
I mean, the tournament, yeah.
Yeah, the tournament, of course. Yeah, he wants to win the tournament, and you know, he's not going to, you know, go down without a fight. So, C6 castles.
And here you should also know that this setup with the bishop on G2 is not the toughest way to play against the King's Indian.
Not.
So in that sense, it's okay for black.
Yeah, I think this is okay. I think in general, when white plays G3 bishop G2, it's a bit of a slow development. And it also have a strong defensive value. It's not so easy for black to go for the King's Indian attack. But on the other hand, white does not have the same central control.
But now comes an interesting move.
Yeah, bishop F5.
He takes the chance to play bishop to F5.
Yeah.
Because normally it is like knight BD7, E5 that black is playing in the King's Indian. But now as white has waited to play with a pawn to E4, then you have the chance to try to stop it. And if white wants to go for E4, there has to be some kind of concessions with the knight H4, putting a knight strange on H4, knight D2, you don't want to have it there either. And then when E4 comes, the bishop goes back. So it's a bit of a disturbing move, you could say.
Yeah. But he played knight E1.
Preparing for E4.
E5.
And now you can play E5, yes.
D5. And now A5, preparing to put the knight, maybe not to D7 because the bishop might have some problems, but maybe this way and come here.
And now if you know E4 come, the bishop has to move.
Yeah, it happened. Bishop G4, F3, bishop D7.
Interestingly enough is that normally you save this square for the knights. But here, that also after A5, the idea is that you can put your knight on A6 and C5. Yeah. So this might be working as well.
But now white has the option to take on C6. And then
you have to play with bishop takes C6.
Probably takes. I don't know if you have to. Maybe you don't have to.
Knight takes C6 is also possible.
Maybe knight takes, because you have some queen B6 check and you have moves. And maybe you can just play for activity.
Exactly. But
so he didn't do that. He went for bishop E3, very solid move here. And the C takes, knight A6, as we mentioned before, queen E2, and now knight H5. That's an interesting approach, playing on both sides.
But it looks a little bit...
Yeah. But... I mean,
no, it's okay. Of course.
How are you going to?
No. It's true. I just.
How do you do this? I mean, you have to do something, and you cannot really do anything on the queen side. I mean, it's completely.
And queen E7, rook C8, FC8 or something like that. But then maybe even bishop B6.
Bishop B6 can be quite annoying. A5
because of the bishop on D7 is taking away this, you know. Okay.
So he played knight H5, and I guess we will just have to see what happens here. It will be a fight.
Yes.
So this will be an interesting game. So we just look at the times, and we can see it fairly equal. This is not preparation. So now it's just ideas and calculation.
But what you could say is that normally, I guess that white wants to play on the queen side. One move here can be actually knight to B5.
Yeah, you could do something like that.
To start to put pressure immediately on the D6 square. And if you take with the bishop, then queen take. And I think white has got a strong position in that.
That's a bit annoying.
So the question is after knight B5, what do you play after this move? I like this move, actually.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Maybe it's good, I don't know. White is slightly better in this position.
Yes, white is slightly better.
Then we'll see what happens. Often in these, if things start to happen, it can be chaotic. I mean, everything can happen here. So we'll just have to see. So we go to the Rosenthalis games. and we had this position.
And we said that.
And there was knight c3. We had this. We said
yes.
knight c3 and c6. You suggested that was correct.
Yes.
And we had the exchange. And we had the exchange. And now not bishop d2. He played rook d1 instead.
Okay. So he's ready to go for knight to e2 check, king f1, take on c1, take on c1. That was, I was not sure about that position.
No.
I thought it could be a quite equal position, but maybe.
But there is a problem because you haven't castled yet.
Exactly.
So we can just check that line because
I was not sure about.
Yeah. So let's say we go here. I think the king is good on f1 here. This and this. And there is a problem. d5 is hanging, and you haven't. If you had castled here, you could probably just play d4, and it would be.
But my point, even if you castle in this position, but black,
can't you take the pawn?
And then you would sacrifice a pawn.
Yeah, but you could do that. I guess something like this.
And bishop f.
But isn't this very nice for white?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Black is black, But sometimes, players like Rosenthal's, they play this position and they know they will make a draw. I wouldn't like to play it, but I just say that.
Maybe you can even go here.
Yeah. No, it's not funny.
No.
Okay.
This didn't happen. He
Of
played
course not.
bishop f6.
A much better move, of course.
Rook e1, knight e6.
Wait. Rook e1. So he placed first rook d1.
Yeah, because now he can check. This is the point. And now he plays bishop h3. So this is his point.
Go back. I just want to see the position of the now if you play after bishop f6, if you play bishop e3, then you probably can play like knight to c2 or something like that, or
then you have knight c2. Then it's a different
story.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Good. Okay, just so we understand the position.
Bishop f6, and now this check.
Look at the times. Okay, so now Ido is out of the Goffstein is Gorstein, sorry, he's out of his preparation.
Knight e6.
But here, black is a bit under pressure here, actually. I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so after rook d1, here, wait. Here, I also thought about, what about bishop d2?
Yeah, we can see the evaluation bar gives white an advantage.
Okay.
Actually, the computer says that king f8 would have been the best move here, which is a bit surprising. But this tells us something about the situation. The bishops are stronger than the knight in this, the knight bishop in this situation, and black has a coordination problem. If he had castled in this position, there would be no problem.
But here is check, so you're
check.
Not allowed.
No, you're not allowed. But if he had already had castled,
of course.
But he cannot castle, of course. But king f8 is suggested in this position
because now you threatens. Okay, bishop d2 maybe.
Yeah, you can do different, but there is sometimes there is this c2 thing happening.
Yeah, but actually it's working. Yeah.
But this move is a possibility because you have bishop c5.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, exactly. That's a good move. This is a good move. Bishop e3 is a good move.
And then you win actually. So in this position, you have to go back. But yeah, white is slightly better. So in the game there was bishop h3 after knight e6, bishop h3. Very interesting attack there, and black plays rook d6.
Now you have actually bishop f4.
Yes, you have that, but there is rook b6.
Bishop
mean, it doesn't end
maybe even what do you say? Bishop f4. What do you play then?
No, I was thinking rook b6. What happens? Let's say we go here. Is there something?
Can you play bishop e5 here?
Yeah, you can do that. But maybe you could even
Should you take on b2 maybe?
Maybe you can go up with the king and come to f6 with the king. I don't know. Is it so bad?
No, probably it's okay. b3, yeah. So, okay, I agree.
So rook d6.
So now it's time to find a move, huh?
Yeah, it's time to find a move.
Okay, bishop d2.
Think, I think you just develop the pieces, because if you take now on b2,
rook b1 is very dangerous.
Rook b1 and there are problems. And then you can ask, what is white going to do?
Can you take on b2?
Yeah, of course you can take.
and then play rook b6.
Yeah, you can go here. But there are moves. You can attack it, maybe something like this.
And then bishop c3. That's nice.
Yeah, because it's hanging. So
I
if you
see.
go here,
I see. Very no, but bishop c3, you take it.
But you can take here, maybe check, take something like this.
Rook a6 or something like that, and you have problems with the.
I don't know. Can you do this?
You take on c. No,
no,
okay,
but you lose the rook.
Okay, good.
You lose the rook. So you pick up the both of the rooks here. No, this was sort of a computer.
No, but anyway, this is interesting to see that still there are some difficult.
But this is typical. Once you get interaction between the pieces, things are happening and it gets very tactical. And we have such a situation now with the bishop and rook on the e and the bishop here and so. And suddenly it gets very tactical and you have to start thinking.
But one thing that is good with bishop d2 is that you cannot castle because then bishop b4 will come.
Yeah. No, I think bishop d2 is the obvious move here.
Okay, king d7. Should you play like that?
Doesn't look very nice, but okay, let's try it.
Just to to give some support, but also to put out the other.
Yeah, it's playable. It's playable. Maybe you move the rook somewhere.
Rook a1.
Maybe something like
because
this.
Now you're threatening actually bishop b4. That is annoying. I agree.
Go here and finally you target this guy.
Rook b8.
Yeah.
And you have bishop f4. You have bishop f4 as well. Both these moves.
Yeah, also this.
That is not good.
Okay. And if white can play b3 at some point, then you take away all the counterplay. So this
is slightly better.
Yeah, clearly slightly better. Maybe it's even better than slightly. Maybe it's slightly plus better.
But I guess here is a critical situation because you could see that it is based a little bit of tactics,
Yeah.
So you really need to find the good moves. So normally in these positions, it's really now you should spend your time.
But that's also the reason why white is thinking. He had his preparation and he managed to get an advantage. But now he has to convert this into something substantial. Because if he makes some bland moves, nothing moves, he's not better at all. So everything hinges on this position now. So let's go to the next game. And now we have Praneeth, our favorite defender, who plays another Indian player, a young guy, Garg Aradia, FIDE master. Fairly high rated FIDE master, I would say. And
very strange move.
Very strange. Let's go back. Let's see what's happening. Yes. So it's
he's playing so. I think Praneeth is playing so strange, but then he's fighting so well. So yeah. But knight h5 was black, so and he's white. So we have this. Sorry.
This is the. Let's say the modern Queen's Gambit with bishop on f4. This has been more and more taking over instead of bishop. In the old days, we always put the bishop on g5, and nowadays bishop f4. It's a little bit like the London system, but you play with c4.
Exactly.
And I remember in the World Championship match between Anand and Carlsen, this was played a number of times, I think. So c5, take queen c2. Knight c6, a3.
Now everything is normal so far.
Yeah. Yes, and now black plays queen a5. It looks like he goes into this fork here, but it's actually not a fork. It's it's a pin. So this is the trick.
But
rook d1 now b4 is you have to at least evaluate. I don't
probably
think it's not a threat, but you take with the knight and bishop and you come with the probably knight e4 and things like that. This is there's lots of theory here, and this has been played in many games. And in this situation now, black played h6. And white's idea is just to develop and get your pieces out. Black is playing for some tactics here. That's the whole.
But
idea.
The thing is, as soon as you make a castle here with white, black has to take into account this of b4. So you need to do something before that.
Yeah. So this
is isn't this a strange move? Sorry.
To take
in this position. I just want to see here this position. I thought it was knight e4 here.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the moves. Yeah. This position has been played before. It's not a new position. And we can see that there was a game here between Le Quang Lem and Fabiano Caruana.
No, I think I've analyzed this position actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes so I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that, or a year ago or something like that. And I think that it was knight e4 and this some kind of pawn sacrifice or something like that. That should be quite okay for black, but. So it's because actually it's critical moment now in the game, because if just white can make these simple moves, black will be worse. Knight e4, I think you could take on d5, I guess. I mean, play normal moves. It should be a little bit better for white, but in the game there was this exchange on c4, bishop takes, and now something completely different. Knight h5. This was the move you reacted to. Can you play b4? Now?
Yeah, I think so.
What is this? Aren't you just winning a piece to b4? I don't understand.
But there could be, maybe he has some analysis here. I don't know. Let's check it out, okay? So what could you do instead? If you don't want to do that, you could play
bishop d6, for example.
You could let's say you play a move like this, but then he will take, and maybe go home even with the knight, and it's not much.
Because you're threatening to play queen c5 actually.
So if you really want to do something here, you have to strike with this move. And now what? What's the plan? You have to take, right? So you have two options: knight takes and bishop takes.
Okay, is it that you want to get 3 pawns?
You could take on a3 also, queen a3. So let's start with the most obvious. The most obvious is to take with the knight, and white has to take, and you take with the bishop. So let's have now at least we have a threat. So you have to do something.
But bishop e5 is good here.
Yeah, bishop e5 is a possibility
because you cannot play f6 e5.
It's true. Due to the pin. Let's explain that. Once you play this move, you can just slide back, and there is no such move.
And actually, after this, you're actually threatening to play g4.
Also, this knight here is not good. So okay, so b4, knight, and now bishop e5. Could it be that he has somehow missed this move? Because if he cannot play,
but I think it's another idea is I think you should take the bishop. I think his idea is to play like this.
But the interesting thing when we look at this position, and I can see that the computer says that bishop e5 wins, every other move gives black the advantage. And then that is an indication that this might have been a miscalculation, because I don't think knight h5 was preparation. He has used quite a lot of time. He has already used up half his time.
Interesting.
So he plays knight h5, and he has somehow seen this line with b4. Of course, he has analyzed this. I mean, he has looked at this. He's not a bad player. He knows his way around this. But maybe in this position he misses that this move protects everything. Maybe he thinks, well, but I can always attack, but he cannot always attack. That's the problem.
Is it like he wants to play like king h8 with the idea of f6 e5?
Yeah, let's do something like this.
The problem is that I now see.
Yeah, but now you have bishop d6 also, so you can just castle here.
f6.
You can go here. The rook is hanging. So I mean, you have to. This is just lost.
Completely.
But they have played this. We are here. This is the situation in the game.
Because you can also in this position. I was thinking about, can you play queen take b4?
Yeah, of course.
The idea was that if you move the bishop, you take on f4 and you get 3 pawns, Even though that doesn't look good. I think that is good for white as well.
Yeah.
because it's.
I don't think this is very critical. I think white has many moves. You can just move the bishop. I think is, as you said,
bishop a2 or something.
Some move like that. So I think we will leave it here. Obviously, there is something wrong in the calculations, but that doesn't mean that the game is over.
No.
And
we have seen some, surprising results.
Whatever happens, black will still have two connected passed pawns for the piece. It's not over. The game can go on and everything can happen. And maybe black is very happy with this position. Maybe he say, "Oh, I got out of theory. I have made the sacrifice. I'm active." You know.
But let's go to the first board because I really want to see what Trost has been doing. You know.
Yeah. So, not much has happened here. We see knight c3 played, and black, of course, played knight e5. And you could say, of course, Trost played this.
And he has used. No, now he has used a lot of time.
Yeah.
What happened?
So
here,
he played knight c3, knight e5. I think something has gone wrong in Trost's preparation.
It must be like he has mixed up variations or something like that.
He must have mixed up variations, and he had analyzed something with knight h4, f4, maybe with the rook on f1, and then he has mixed the lines, and suddenly he realizes that this is a horror, and it is a horror. And then now he plays knight d5, and now of course we
he used for that. He used
45 minutes.
45 minutes on this move. You know.
Yeah.
Edvin. I'm sorry I say that.
Yeah, but I understand, and I'm thinking the same myself, because since I like this line with white, I don't like seeing it butchered this way. No, but I can just feel that this is not good. Yeah, this is horrible.
Because here black has got this. We saw that bishop g4 is an obvious move here. You know,
it's an obvious move, and if you play bishop g4, it's horrible, because either you have to go back with the knight, and whatever you do, always this g5 move, and white has no play. There is nothing, and the e5 will never be opened. So
okay, queen c1.
Yeah, queen c1, and then we can just play this.
And if you take on e7.
Yeah. I guess we take back.
And then I knight f5.
Yeah, knight f5. Maybe let's say we just take everything here. And maybe do this, play like this.
White has got fantastic attack on the black king.
Yeah.
No, this looks terrible.
This is horrible.
It's terrible.
You could see an attack from black on the white king. I mean, that's not impossible.
I totally agree with you.
There's also the possibility that black might pick up this pawn here on f5.
Now, this is simply lost.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, I would say, and he played bishop g4. It's played in the game, so we're here now. This is the position. Yeah, it's a horrible. The sad thing for Edvin is that he played something that is so easy to refute that you don't even have to be afraid.
You don't even have to be smart. Okay, knight f3.
I don't know about that, though. I don't know about that.
Let's play knight f3. What do you do then?
Yeah, I think it's
probably better.
Again, you should not give away the f4 pawn. I think this is a crucial move. You should always do that.
d4 now. Let's go for d4.
Yeah, go for glory. I guess you take it.
And so bishop take.
Bishop takes d4.
Because at least you have some activity now.
Yeah. This is probably the best way to play. And now black has some different ideas here. I don't know if you should go. Maybe you can play.
Well, at least, but now it's a fight.
It's a game.
So I mean, it's not completely over because it's more. We're actually on that level already. That white has to find the best chance.
Yeah, but maybe this is okay. I mean, given the situation, that you can still play. But I'm a little bit afraid that black can just somehow maybe you can even play like something like this, and you have the idea of making a queenside castle maybe at some point. You could even castle kingside. I don't see any big problem with that.
b4. At least I'm threatening bishop c5 now.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, well, he has in this line. I can see at least that white's pieces are he needs to create some kind of like you say, some kind of hope. You need to create that because in the other position was terrible because
but he played Queen C1.
No.
That's what he did.
Because from what I can see also with Sivuk, he has been very, when he has got the chance to play, solid and so on. Like if you play G5, this line that we said with knight take E7, queen take, knight take, and then castle alongside. It's so simple.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's perfect for him, Yeah. So this is terrible.
We saw how refined he can be in his play yesterday when he managed to turn this horrible game around. Now he has a fantastic position. I just don't see him slipping up here.
No, he will. I think Black will win this game.
It looks.
I'm sorry to say that.
Yeah, and if he does, I think it's all up to nerves. This is Trost didn't need to go into this. This is typical when you don't know where you sort of. You start thinking about grandmaster norms and you think about the tournament.
Okay, well, I have one. Just take one line. I just got one idea. What about if G5? Can you play H3?
Of course.
It's getting. I mean, it's desperation. But at least try to.
As far as I can see, the computer says that you can basically try everything here. You can take on A3. You can go back, and it doesn't change the evaluation. So. Yeah, well, I understand what you're looking for because you want to see this move, right? And then you
now
get this.
We're talking,
and then actually suddenly White is winning.
But I don't think that this will happen.
No,
Tom.
That's the thing. He will not play. But I like your idea.
The thing is more like now. It's more again. It's more down to the last chance in a way, because it's here is a bit of desperation,
Yeah.
From my side as well.
I think a normal, very cautious move would be to go here. Because now you're almost forced to take on E7 and go into your line. And then I'm not sure why H3 it's not a big improvement.
No, I agree.
So
okay.
Yeah. But we will check in with this later.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for one of our breaks now.
Yes.
We have gone through most of the games.
Yes.
And we will take a break.
15 to 20 minutes.
Yes. Okay, we're back from the coffee break. And we will jump right into the games. Things are happening. And I think we'll go to the board, the first one. Because this is where I think the championship, or whatever you call it, the Rilton Cup, will be decided.
Or at least it can be if someone wins the game.
Yeah, I think it's very important at least. So let's go back and see what happened. We had the position...
Queen C1, yes.
We had this bishop G4 move, which was the best move, and Queen C1, and Black played G5. And here Edwin played something we hadn't expected, right?
Yes.
Because he suddenly swapped the bishop here. And after f takes e5, he played a very enterprising move in my view. He played Queen B2. We didn't see that coming.
But that was probably very smart played, because he really has to do something to get his pieces to life.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, he will just lose immediately.
Yeah. Well, actually, it is lost.
Yes.
But we can see here that the maybe the best line.
What about if you take on h4?
Yeah, this is probably the best
and
line.
And then just king d7. I don't understand.
Yeah, and then king up here.
Because you were threatening both on h8 and knight f6, but here.
But after this move, there is nothing for white. So this would have been the refutation of this idea.
So this is simply winning.
Yeah, well, winning. I don't know. What about the pawns here? We have 7 against 7, so you can get maybe one pawn.
Okay, take on f4.
Yeah,
and then play e5 and start to do something. You know.
I can understand if you're black, maybe you don't want to play this position.
No.
I mean, you prefer not to play it like this. And Sivok, he didn't want to go into this. So after Queen B2, I'm sure he saw that he could take on H4, but instead he played Bishop D6.
Okay.
Very, very normal. But then white gets to jump.
I must say, this was great to see that Edwin was, because again we spoke a little bit about some other of the days that that some players are lucky, you could say, but as always you have to fight for your luck. You have to work for it.
You don't get it for free.
Never. And you have to make it difficult for the opponent, move by move, and this is what Edwin is doing, and that's impressive.
And his idea, of course, is that if takes on f5, which is possible, and take care before this knight was hanging, but now with the bishop on d6, it's still alive. And this position, it's still we can see that the evaluation bar gives a big advantage for black. But in practice, you see lots of ghosts here. We're talking about feeding the ghosts.
Also because rook take e5 sometimes and so on.
This is a threat. I guess black could maybe play something like this. But again, I mean, there are moves. You could play like f6, maybe something like this.
But then c6.
Yeah, and then you check on e7, and you take this, and there are pawns hanging, and it's a bit murky.
Exactly. At least you have chances to do something.
Yeah. So instead of taking, Sivok played this, and this is the position now in the game. And let's count the pawns. It's always a good start, and we see black has all 8 pawns still on the board. White has only 7. But a pawn is just a pawn. I think the most important factor here is that the white knights are not completely stable. And
Now the move you want to play here for white is b4 because you need to open up before black can come with castling long side, for safety. Because queen d7.
You want to play this one,
Yeah. I think that was played in the game as well, huh?
No, it hasn't.
It wasn't.
I think we just made. I just made the move here, but I don't know. Maybe it has been played. I don't know.
Okay.
I agree with you. It's definitely.
Now you need to do something,
Yeah. What can you do? I mean, what can you do here? Because what you want to do is this.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, this is the move, and you cannot do it. So this is a very logical move without making any calculations. Because of course, what happens? We have to check this. Let's say take, and let's say we just brutally take this pawn. Now we have 2 pawns.
Yes, but my idea was in this position, maybe you should simply play king h1.
Okay, fine.
And the idea is that you threaten to take, okay, maybe c4 is strong now.
Yeah, you could also take on b4. I mean, it's...
then d4 at least
yeah,
is something, you know.
Something like this. Yeah. But when you take with the pawn, then you move the bishop, maybe.
But then knight f6 and queen b3 and...
Yeah.
You know,
but I agree. This
suddenly there is some play, you know.
This position is probably completely winning for black, but given the tournament situation, times and everything, black could start to get a bit worried that...
What is the time when we see this rook after rook f8? Because that's also, this will be a factor in this game.
It's equal.
Yes,
it's equal.
but you can see that they've only played 17 moves and they are down to 1/2 an hour. That means that there is a risk that we go into this type of time scrambles that we have seen before. And then, as we saw in Sivuk's game yesterday, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, yeah.
And don't forget, Trost won the Bullet Championship of Sweden at the age of 12. So come on, the less time they have got, the better he will become.
Maybe, we'll see.
Yes, maybe.
We'll
exactly.
See. Playing bullet is one thing because you have no care in the world. It's all about just flashing out moves. Here it's very much a responsibility, and you feel all, you know, the whole of the board of Rocado Nesco is watching, and yeah.
But still, okay. But White needs to do something. So if it's not, let's say, if it's not b4, I don't know what else to do, because also c6 is, you know, it might be a threat, you know. So
no. I maybe b4. I'm
because
I'm not convinced.
Let's see b4 c6. Just to if can you take on c5?
But then you take here, and then you're fine, because now e5 is
fine, but
yeah, but now suddenly it's opening up, and it's very important if you can open up the queenside, because then there is no queenside castling. So this I would like. This I
no, because bishop takes c5 and d4 was the idea.
Yeah, probably d4. Yeah, this is the point.
And maybe now,
because if you take here now, I guess you have some move. Maybe you can.
Take on b7.
Maybe even you can go with the queen here. I don't know.
Yes, because they're threatening to give checkmate on g7.
And you have this nice threat.
No, this
here.
is very, very dangerous. No, I think that you should play. Maybe you should play instead of that. If you go back after b4, go back. I don't know what happened. B4.
No, I think why not take on f5? This I like this one. You reduce the sort of uncertainty in the position. I like that. And now you wanted to do something here.
Now I want to do something. I want to play king h1.
You want to go here, yeah? Yeah. Okay, let's take this.
d4.
And you play d4, yeah. And then the question is, what happens?
Can you be so boring? You play queen d7 and castle alongside.
Yeah. There is this knight is hanging, so after this move you can actually do this, because after this the rook comes in.
Okay, maybe e6 can be a ghost.
No, there are many ghosts. There are many ghosts. But after this move, maybe you can just move your queen somewhere here, maybe.
And rook ad1. Again, I don't say that.
Well, rook ad1, then we take
okay,
it.
you can take it. I'm sorry. Now go back. You have to take on b4.
Okay, he played b4. I can see that. It was just played. And we can see it also on the video. If you look at the board, you can see he played b4.
Yeah.
And if we look at the evaluation bar, it has not improved White's chances. But in real life,
yes,
with little time and the Rilton Cup on the line, and titles and things, and all these factors, then it's a murky situation.
Well,
Yeah.
At least you know it's still a fight at least, you know.
But with black, when you have such a brilliant opening that black had in this game, you want to sort of clarify, and you want to get to the technical phase when you're going to win with a pawn or whatever. You don't like it when you have to find, tricky tactical moves and move your king, and you want to castle, and you want to you have your pawn, and you want to win the game slowly, and
Exactly.
So anyway, I think we should
we'll
look at
move
the
on.
other games. Yeah.
There's no doubt that if Sivuk plays well, he should win, but still there are some chances for him to go wrong. Not the least when the time is going down. But let's move on.
So we had this position here: bishop d5, knight c6, and c3, as we said, and black exchanged, and he played queen c8.
Queen c8,
a
little bit strange, maybe.
Slightly surprising, I would say.
Well, I think a very logical move is to play queen to a2. Huh?
Yeah, he played queen a2, and of course, what is White's big advantage in the or what's his sort of main feature here? I think it's the bishop on d5. It attacks f7 and it attacks c6, so it's an annoying piece. So he played queen a2.
There is one move. There is one move you want to play here also. That is b4 can be a way for White to put pressure on after queen c8. So
what happens if you just take?
No, queen a3 first. I mean, instead of putting the queen on a2, that is a normal move. I just realized that if you can play b4 in the position without losing a pawn, obviously, then that is actually quite a bit of a pressure.
Yeah, you could go for b4 here, I guess.
Now queen a3,
maybe play rook here.
Rook c1, yeah, maybe.
And then just play for the pin.
But on the other hand, you want to be ready for f4 as well, so it's not easy here.
No.
But the question is, what black is going to play. Is he going to play knight d8, knight e6, or try to do something on the king side? Or
but I like Eric's choice. He played queen a2 because
it's logical and easy.
You prepare for attacking f7, so you keep the rook on f8. You also prepare to play rook a1 at some point.
Yes,
and take the a file, and that's very logical.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have played queen a2 as well, actually, because it's such an easy move to play with keeping the options open, and also you are ready to go for a1 with the rook, and also f4 is still in the pipeline.
Bishop f6. I guess taking some control over d4, making it more difficult to play. And also knight e7, of course.
Because here you can actually play bishop g5 or knight e5 to put pressure on f7.
Yeah, he played knight g5.
The question is, should you play bishop to g5 or knight to g5? I guess he played knight to g5, huh?
Yeah. No, but he wants to get this favorable exchange, because if, let's say, black plays this, I mean, it's not winning or anything, but at least now you have something. You have the pair of bishops.
Exactly.
f4 is coming. You have a lot of play. And it's
more easy to play for
tricky.
White.
Yeah. So in this situation instead, let's go back. So we had knight g5 here, and bishop e8.
Okay, protecting.
So and now f4.
Okay.
So
also logical.
It's very logical, but now black played this queen g4, which I think is in a way a fascinating move, because black is counter-attacking. Suddenly he's threatening to take on f4, and if you take with
the logical move for me is h3.
Yeah, that's the move.
And then, but maybe queen g3 is then a problem.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. But it didn't happen.
Yeah,
he played knight 8. I think knight h3 shows that Eric is not.
h3, even queen e2 is possible.
Yeah, there are moves. So he played knight h3, which is sort of a retreat.
I don't know if he had really understood this with.
But it doesn't matter so much. The thing is, I think what White is doing, he keeps the control in the position.
But what about queen e2?
Yeah.
And take one of the pawns.
Yeah. Queen e2 is possible, and then maybe I guess you move the bishop. Can you do something else? No, I think you have to move. Maybe, I don't know. Let's say we go here. You want to take this? Let's look at this position. Yeah.
Play sharp, you know.
Yeah. Play sharp. Yeah, I don't know. Queen. You could make a queen move with white.
Queen a6, yeah.
But I agree. This looks like maybe white has sort of lost a little bit of the grip. But I think with the bishop on d5, this is very strong still. You protect here.
Queen a6, it seems to be like
you
a
have
pressure
this,
move, yeah.
and you have pressure in all directions. So I don't think this is not the end of the world. But we'll have to see. I mean, this is a very sharp game.
But it was still a bit surprising because it felt like,
yeah, but
queen g4 was much stronger. You know, I'm not sure I would have in this position.
But maybe f4.
It was too early, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have played like h3. Simply play h3. And what about knight e6? Can you play that?
No. Because
bishop f7. Yeah. That was a trick. But otherwise, it was a nice idea. But
nice idea, but not good.
But not good. That's right. No, the idea was that after you can show maybe because that's quite an interesting line. Knight e6. The idea is of this. You can play bishop f7, and if here taken here, then you have lost a piece.
You lost a piece for a pawn, so it's
nothing.
It's what they call a nothing burger.
A nothing burger. Okay.
So knight h3. Yeah. It's still a fight. But obviously black is playing well here. Sokolovsky.
But no doubt, h3 would have been better. I guess h6 and then knight f3.
I'm convinced that maybe already here when he after bishop f6 he played knight g5. He could have gone for what I said. Play the simple moves, But because he's going for some tactics, but obviously he hasn't calculated it. I think knight g5 is actually not the best move.
I agree.
It's sort of you're fishing for something that does not exist.
Yeah. Okay.
And finally you have to go back to h3. That was not the plan. So here he's losing a little bit of his nerve here with knight g5. Over ambition. Rook a1. Play the simple moves. Would have been maybe, I mean, not winning or anything, but you secure some advantage. You can play queen a6 and so on. So let's go to the next game. We have this young men's game here with.
Where we said that white maybe have slight advantage due to that, it is white is in the driver's seat, but. Yeah, if you try something, you might, black will have a good chance to make a counter-attack. So,
but let's see how this developed. We saw the exchange on g2.
Yep.
There was a little bit of a trick in this position. He played bishop h3, hoping for this one, winning the queen, but that didn't happen. So there was an exchange, and then rook e8. Bishop b2, a6. These are normal moves. f3. Knight d7, rook ac1, knight c5.
One way is quite a few play c6, b5 sometimes, even though it seems like the pawn on d6 is weak. Quite often you get compensation if black is white is going for it. But okay.
But that didn't happen here. b4 came back again. a3. So then you wonder, why did he go with the knight? Well, but white has also weakened himself a little bit because now suddenly this pawn is it could be a target at some point. So we saw a5 already using the fact that he can open up.
And of course you don't want to play b5 because the knight will have a fantastic square on c5.
This would be a positional mistake. I mean, it's playable, but black wants this type of moves.
Knight b3 is threatening and a4 will come.
So take. Knight e5, rook c2, queen d7, threatening a little bit of a tickle here. Knight takes and queen takes b5. Knight f4.
What about take on?
But c7 falls, so it's you can do that, but then c7 falls, I guess.
But look at that position.
No, you cannot take on c7. Or you can? Yeah, you can.
But rook a2 is at least a little bit annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's annoying. But we have this move. This is the move.
Okay. And then the question is, how is this? I guess it's okay for... I guess that white may be even... Sometimes there are d5.
Yeah, but it's...
What is happening after d5? Because this can be... I mean, this is the typical kind of...
Yeah.
Or g5 and d5 maybe even. But sometimes there is like this strange...
Luckily we have a computer that says that this wins for white.
Okay.
Because knight comes to d5.
I see. But what about the g5 first then?
So you don't
Instead
want to
of
play
d5.
d5.
No, in g5 here?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can, undermine with g4. Or
same idea.
And take on c2. Okay.
And you regret your g5 move.
Yeah, I guess so. But
no, but this is better than
I agree.
Than you would expect,
right?
No,
I agree. I just want to.
Yeah, but interesting. Good. I mean, this is
but
when we analyze, we do it for the audience to show, and we make sometimes bad moves just to illustrate.
Let's say that. Thank you, Tom.
No, but you cannot understand a position like this if you don't.
But
work.
also,
this is what's happening in their heads. So I'm sure Black was looking for knight c4 and all this, and then finally, it doesn't work,
But also, is another thing that this is typical line of this kind of counterattacks that might come.
Yeah.
So white need to be very careful with what you do because this type of stuff can happen.
It's very, very dangerous. Once you get overextended, it can collapse. So in this position, after this, there was rook a d8, and now white played rook d8, and this is where we are. Rook d8, rook d1, and this position is I would say it's a very rich position, lots of possibilities.
And again, it is, your feeling is that white should be slightly better due to his center. But on the other hand, as soon as you try to do something, the forces of black can, get released.
Yeah.
So it's...
And there are still ideas we mentioned before, this type of thing.
Or G5,
can be
G4
very, very,
or something like that.
Could be very,
undermining.
Can be very irritating. And suddenly black with a more compact... Because... When you played f3, and this is not a good king position. This is actually a very weak king position. So if I was looking in the crystal ball, I would say, well, black wins due to this bad king here. The position is equal, I would say. But this is a marker that at some point later on, there could be an attack on the king. It could be something with the rook coming down, he played h5.
Okay, that's...
Yeah,
perfectly normal in one sense. But
no, I think it's a good move. You should do that. Also, you get some possibilities to play here. But well, maybe white is better here. But I think in practical play, I think it's a good move.
But I had one idea. What about bishop take e5, rook take e5, knight d3, and e5?
You want to go here, and then rook back, and you want to go there.
Maybe there was not a threat. Maybe so.
No, you can take back. I think you just take, and it's nothing. But h5, of course, it's a little bit,
because you want to place like c5 in this. You want to start to do something here with white, but
look at the evaluation bar. It gives once it was equal here. h5, but then if we look at what the computer suggests, I say this is not going to happen because it says take here,
but the idea
and play h4.
Is that what it suggests?
That's
not queen d3 and c5.
No, it actually suggested this move, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No,
that's very unlikely.
But go back. Okay. No. Anyway. Okay.
I think we should jump.
Mm.
We shouldn't dig too deep into
Actually,
this.
black bishop h6 was even threatened.
There
But
are
okay.
many moves.
Mm.
There are many moves.
But this is now looks like white has got a grip at least in that.
No, we had this position.
Mm-hmm.
There was b6.
And we said that
And-
it's crucial
yeah.
now to find the right way to play.
And he played interestingly. He played queen a3. I think because you had some ideas, we should immediately start
But that is
jumping.
much better, maybe.
Yeah, but I think this is good because
Mhm.
now he uses the fact that the black queen does not have a really good. He would like to play queen e7 at some point, but not possible at this stage.
And now knight to d6
Yeah.
is coming on.
And he prevents also bishop a6
Exactly.
because the queen is here.
Mm.
So in this position, he played bishop b7,
Mm.
knight d6, queen e7, and then knight e5. And now it looks more like a grip, or sort of a grip. So there was knight e4.
But wait. We said before that bishop d5 was the move to play if you had the chance. So why not bishop d5 here? Is it f3 e4? But then you take on a2. Maybe.
Yeah, bishop d5 looks very normal.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
because
I
we
think-
said, because we even said that. You know.
But he goes for the knight e4 move in this situation. But maybe that is a mistake, because then you get to exchange the bishop. So why didn't he play this move?
Yeah, that is so normal to me, you know.
This looks very normal. Or did he see something?
Rook fd1. If you cannot play, because at least after rook if f3 is not good.
Well, you can play it, I guess. Yeah, he should have.
But rook
Maybe he should have played this. We shouldn't dig too deeply.
No, we don't.
We have so many positions. We need to
Sorry, you're
speed
right.
up a
Yes,
bit.
come on.
So, and we want to see the mistakes
Yes.
because that's what gives these games their character, so to speak. So here there was a good chance to put the bishop on d5, something we had pointed out at an early stage. But my mobile phone went to the floor. Sorry. Okay, so at this point, knight e4 was played, and of course he takes away the bishop, and now he
f3, yes.
hunts it, and this.
Because now white will always be slightly better, I guess, huh?
Yeah, slightly, not much.
No, but where to put the rooks, for example?
Yeah. Now we can see that if, let's say, black plays naively this move, we have this check here, winning
Immediately.
an exchange. Yeah. So in this situation, he played instead, of course, b5.
But not of course, because that is also weak. Can be a weakness, you know.
Yeah, but he needs to
do something. Yes.
Yeah, he needs to do something, and I guess one of the ideas could be to play queen b6, maybe something like that. So in the game, there was
Of
rook
course.
fd1,
White has simple moves seriously.
rook e8, but there's still the question: how do you continue? e4, h6. Now e5 would be a bad mistake because the knight comes here.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then there are problems. So here he played queen d6. King goes to h7. And now he plays king f1.
Exactly.
I guess he's a bit afraid that there could be some checking here.
And don't forget what we said also.
Yeah.
In this type of position, when you have this type of pressure against your opponent, if you play this kind of small moves, that is not forcing the play, but just, continue to keep up the pressure. That is that is what you do not like.
Yeah, but black played rook ac8. And white has a nice position, but still, where's the win, so to speak? What do you take? You want to take a pawn or something. You want to get something or get the rook to the 7th. It's not easy, but the game is still going on. So we can just see that. White, in my view, white is better.
Yes,
but it's unclear how he can continue.
Maybe b4.
Yeah, maybe some move like that. B4,
maybe.
some move.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So-
because white can also try to double the rooks on some
Yeah.
kind of file. And
Yeah. But white should be better. So then we go to the this
we
game.
must go back soon to Trost again.
Of
because
course.
it's
Of course. Yeah, we have to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just gonna quickly show these games because we had some interesting developments. So in this position, we had this knight h5.
Yes.
And we were sort of, it's a normal idea. On the other hand, what's happening on the queen side? And what we saw was, or what happened was that white went for the queen side.
Is that correct? Should it be on C2 or D3? Okay.
That's a very,
well, okay. We should, again, I'm sorry if I dig too deep again, but
no, I think
it's just like-
I think we could analyze every position,
Yes.
and then we would never
good. No,
come
we
anywhere.
also said knight B5 in this position was a strong move.
So if you
maybe.
want to see the Trost game, you have to.
I cannot
Restrict.
be too interested.
No,
I'm sorry.
not
Yes,
too interested.
not too interested.
Not to, but I agree with you. This is very tricky situation, and you need to find it. We said that this is very tricky, and he went for this one, and black played f5, of course, and he played bishop f2, because I guess he wants to be ready to after this move. He wants to play g4. And close the king side. So that's the point. So knight f6, he went back, and now knight e3. So we see instead of going, you said knight e3, he has chosen to go from, he went from here to here and then here, and the knight is quite good here because when you get here, then you get all these
But on the other hand, then b5 can come,
Yeah, but then maybe there's
you have to
things
watch
are
out,
hanging.
of course.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's see what happened.
Because of course both players are making moves, so things will happen. So black took here. I think that's a good decision.
Yes,
actually.
that is actually what you try to do when you come back with the knight, because now you have the g4 square to go for.
And then knight c5. And then you can start asking, what is white doing here? Because he hasn't really created anything. So maybe his maneuver was too slow, or maybe he should have done like you said.
Yeah, it
put
looks,
the knight on d3.
Because now actually b5 is threatening maybe.
So he went here, normal move.
Bishop e8 maybe, no?
And there could be some threats to take on d6 now.
Or c5 maybe even.
Take on c5 also.
So queen c7.
He played
must
queen
be
c7,
played,
yeah. And rook ac1. Interesting bishop h6.
Yes.
A little bit of a bee sting
of
from
course,
the
you should
from the
take
side.
the chance.
Yeah, the bishop is suddenly not
now
bad.
black is better.
Yeah.
What has it done?
So bishop e3 takes, and he played rook ab8,
preparing for b5.
and now we see black has all the right pieces. That's
this is
when you evaluate positions like this, you have to look at the minor pieces, and we see that we have all these pawns on the white squares. So you want to have the pieces so you can attack. And he has this one attacking here, and this one putting pressure, and then he has the white squared bishop, while this one is completely dead.
And don't forget, not only did you get away with could swap off the bishop, the good bishop for white on e3. Also, due to that, black is a little bit more cramped. You can be happy when you swap off a piece.
This is a very solid advantage, and I, given how strong Kaido is, he was a little bit unlucky, I would say, against Trost. That's my view.
Yes,
but it also shows why Trost is such a strong player. He's such a fighter. Anyway, this looks good. So let's see the Rosenthalis game.
Okay.
And to me, this looks like white has a slight advantage, but it's so slight that a draw, as you said before, is very likely. Yeah, somehow he managed. Let's go back because we had a very interesting situation here.
Yeah,
and it was this.
No, it's bishop d2. We said was probably the best move. But
he played bishop f4, which was perhaps not.
But then we have exactly this what I suggested first before we realized that it might not be so much.
Yeah. It was like this. Yeah, he could. We said maybe even king e7 was possible, but he took which is perfectly good, and then he took here. Okay, so it's a slight advantage for white. The bishop is better than the knight, but the knight has a protected square. It has e6, so Yeah, it should be holdable for black. So in the game, we can just fast forward here, see what happens. We got all the pieces. Knight comes to d4, yeah.
The point is that the a7 pawn is very difficult for white to attack.
Yeah.
Not the least as if you do that, white will get an attack with rook c2, maybe, and rook to f6 or something. So.
And you have the problem with the bishop. Where do you put it? Where do you put it?
So I think it's rather equal because
it looks equal.
As long as the rook is on c7, it's hard to say that.
We have one more game that I think we looked at. Did we look at this game?
No,
we didn't.
Let's go back.
Then we go back to
the main game of this tournament.
And we saw b4. Black took it. And king h1. This is
he played it first.
A little bit of your idea here in a different move order. Queen d7 was played, and now d4. And whatever the computer says here, this is a tense situation, and it's very tense for the players, right? And if I was white here, I wouldn't be so sad. I mean,
I would be sad.
We can look at the evaluation bar, but at least you have some play because it looked like you were completely crushed.
In that sense, I agree. But I would be sad, but I would be less sad than before. This is maybe how to put it.
I would think that the most logical move would be just to take.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be?
Yes.
Take on f5.
Do you take on where do you take?
Well, I think we looked at this, but it was another move.
Do you take on e5? No. Do you have the chance to do that?
Yeah. Again, you can actually, if you want to, you can castle here because it takes.
And then take on f5, and then you have
Yeah. Then rook takes f5. We saw this.
Yeah, but knight f6. It's a little bit different, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe. Let's see.
I'll just say that now at least.
Say we castle, and you want to take here.
No. Maybe take
rook
on
takes, and you want to go here.
No, probably it's nothing. But
yeah, actually you can do this. It turns out, and then rook takes.
Okay, go back.
I think if Sivuk is cool here,
he should win
with a cold head and not fall for these.
Go back and let's see that then. Bishop take f5. Pawn take f5. Let's see that if there is any difference, like this, and it was castling. Now it was Lycia.
Well, there is something like this, but I think you just go here, ed6, you castle, and suddenly we are very close to this technical phase where you want to win with your extra pawn or extra pawns or whatever it might be. So we might see a situation like this. Maybe a lot of exchanges. White gets the b4 pawn, and then you play with 3 against 2. This is not unlikely. I think Sivuk, he wants to clarify. Trost wants to complicate.
Of course.
He wants to make it a complete mess. Even though it's bad, he doesn't care about the evaluation. He just wants a mess, and he wants to try to drag Sivuk into this mess and maybe get some time pressure. And he's he's actually on the way to achieve that. Look at the times. We have 11 minutes for Sivuk now.
And how many moves?
20 and he has 20 moves to make.
Starts to get actually...
And Trost has 26 minutes. So he's already on the way to achieve one of the goals here. And
have I told you about when he was 12 years old? Have I told you this story yet?
No.
No, okay. No, I'm joking.
My memory is not so good anymore. Was it Trost? I thought it was you. You're talking so much about it.
Yes. No, I'm joking. So now again, let's go through it. Take on f5. We said,
Yeah, of course. Let's sit down beside Sivuk and listen to what he thinks. And he's thinking, I don't want to take on f5. I don't want to open the rook. I don't want to give him the e file, right? And maybe he sees,
and now,
but you have to see this. I mean,
and if you take on e5 here, because if you don't play that one,
you castle.
And now, of course, you have e6 that is a little bit on, or you can take on d6 maybe, but
no, but we saw this is the simplest line because we just take this. maybe this and maybe here and
Take on b4.
Take on b4. But now we have a technical position, more or less. This is not something you're afraid of.
No. You even want it to be played because now it's such a simple position.
You play like king b8 or something, and you even start threatening to play like queen takes c2. This looks like a complete.
This will not happen.
Complete loss. Okay, a move has been played. He castled
immediately,
which also is a good move because he has all the threats.
And if you take on e5,
then you take on f5. We have already tried this.
No, but it's a little bit different because now you can take on d6. Maybe.
Yeah, you can take on d6. The problem is that you don't have stability.
And now take on b4 with a knight. Is there anything?
Yeah.
Is this anything?
Well, now we have the pawn and we just need stability, so we can make some move. Maybe bishop e6. What about this? Now it's not critical anymore. Your game is gone, so to speak.
And do you think that f3 can be dangerous for white?
No, but I don't have to think about that because I'm a pawn up.
No,
I don't care. It's you have to. This is how the strong players think. They don't want to
risk anything.
They don't want to look for f3 here. Now they just want to stabilize, exchange the queens.
But let's look at the castle alongside and just see if there is any is there any chance here to play better?
Well, with the aid of the evaluation bar, we can see that this is completely lost for white.
Okay, take on d6 then.
So the only question is, what is the best practical?
Take on d6 check.
Yeah, sure. He will hardly play that. I don't think.
Well, wait. Because you cannot take with a pawn.
No, you take with the queen.
And take on e5.
Yeah, you take on e5, and now you move the queen, something like this. And now f3. Now we can talk f3.
No, but I can also take on b4.
Yeah, but what do you take with?
Queen.
Queen takes b4. That's a mistake. Rook takes d5.
Okay, then I don't take that. I'm sorry. No. Yeah, take with a knight then.
Yeah, okay. Take with the knight, and now we can start.
But
talking.
You said you weren't going to play this. You said.
Well, if you had gone into the other line, I would with the. But now in this situation, when f3 is actually
d3, take on g2.
Yeah, then we go for the attack here. And I guess we do the queen.
But then a king g3 and everything is safe. Huh?
Well, it's not so safe because you can maybe just threaten the e4 pawn or something. I don't know. It looks very good for black. But he has only 10 minutes left. He has to make 19 moves, and Trost has 23 minutes. This is a big difference. This is a very big difference.
Okay. Take on e5 is the move you want to play because it's somehow it seems like you got. It feels better to play that actually.
Is there something else? Is there something surprising here? You would like to look for something that really, because if you start exchanging everything, you will end up in a position that is a pawn down for.
But you have to take the pawn on e5 somehow, don't you?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
No, this is just.
No, it's not good. I'm not saying that, but is there something that, Actually, I can see that the computer has a suggestion for us. It says
C4, yeah.
C4.
I was actually looking at that as well.
And it's the type of move that perhaps could, irritate. Let's see why. Because if you take here, which is a normal move, queen takes. And now suddenly we have a little tickle here. And if you let's say you play a really bad move here, you play queen here, then you have another one there. And this is the type of things that you don't like with black. So
C4.
On the other hand, so maybe taking is actually not a good move. And then I think C4 is actually a good option because black would like to take.
And if you take on F5?
Yeah, he will take on F5. This is excellent.
Pawn take.
Yeah, and rook takes. I mean, we've seen this before.
But now C5?
You can take it. and then take on d5. But maybe I don't know. Of course, it's winning. It's winning for black, whatever you do. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to go to the next game. Let's see what's happening in Blomqvist. We have your line here. Yeah, because you said what happens after Queen E2, and so said black. He played this. Bishop C1. There are not so many moves for white here. I think Bishop C1 is more or less forced. Queen take. He played this before. Okay.
Because if you take maybe knight F2 and knight G4.
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah. There were, for sure, there were problems.
Or Queen A6.
Also Queen A6, yeah. And now he played Bishop B3. And the Queen took. Knight F2. And we have Queen E2. So, unfortunately for Eric, he has lost a pawn. And I'm not sure his position has improved so much. The knight is on F2, the bishop is on C1.
Bishop D1, and the queen is trapped, almost.
Yeah, but not fully. Is it a draw with the queen
Okay,
C4?
no, wait. Okay, queen C4. Maybe you take and play knight G4.
Yeah, you're talking about this move, right?
Bishop D1.
Queen C4. You want to take it?
Yeah, well, I thought that maybe it's a possibility, and then play knight to G4.
Yeah. But it's not much. You develop your pieces and attack the pawns?
My idea was to take
F6. And then what do you do? Protect E4.
You have the fantastic pair of bishops.
Well, that's irony, I guess.
Yes.
Anyway,
Okay.
not so much. So let's look at the times, because that tells the whole story. Okay, it's equal times. It means that both players are a bit pressed. They have 16 moves.
But there is bishop D1, bishop B3. There is this draw. That's correct, huh?
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that Eric. It depends. I think Trost would not have taken it
because here is also B3. Is there a possibility to to try to win here? Probably not. But I just say that.
No, Eric will never do this. This looks crazy, I think.
Okay.
No, you don't have to be sorry. We just
I know.
we are like two scientists in the lab trying. What happens if I mix this with this? An explosion. Okay.
Okay, I died, but okay, let's continue.
Yeah. So
no, this will not happen. Of course.
I think the draw is not 100% unlikely.
No, it's
I
close.
think Eric didn't play so well yesterday. He hasn't played so well now. Now I think he's a bit, doesn't feel so certain about things. He might take the draw.
Yes.
Anyway, we go to the next game. So we have this. Here things have. And we saw this H5 move, which was a move that I advocated, I have to admit. And white answered with a very cool choice, Queen E2.
Looks logical also because you go out of this bishop H6 ideas and you pretend to play C5.
Queen E7, which was a mistake. Actually, it was a big mistake. He should have played H4, of course. This was the plan to this is how you play this.
Pressure,
I'm not an expert in the King's Indian. I played it when I was a young guy, but I haven't played it in a long time. But you should never be afraid to play a move like H4 because white can take it, but
yes, he will. I think.
Yeah, but then the
I agree. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, then the position is getting loose and
But it feels like still it feels like white is again slightly easier to play white.
But Queen E7. That is sort of a wimpish move, don't you think? Because why did he play H5 if you want to play that? Anyway, white played C5. And
this is now it's pressure.
Yeah, he has pressure. And okay, he took on C5 here.
Yeah, what else can you do?
Yeah.
Now this is problematic now because after take on C5, rook takes C5 is.
Yeah, I was also looking at that, but actually in the game, white took here.
I took there.
Yeah.
Okay, even better, of course.
Very,
Nice.
very, very simple. You know, just take a pawn.
Yes.
And see what happens.
See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this is so simple, and now he has d5 square.
Good.
So take on d1, and he took on e8. And this looks like a complete catastrophe. No, black completely gave the game away with queen e7. And he had the chance to play this nice aggressive move here.
But okay, what about if you play c5 here?
After h4? Yeah. It's another game.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, we can see that the computer actually says that you could go
But
for
that
this.
is not an easy move, you know.
No, but I mean, if you start playing on the king side, you need to continue.
Knight d5.
Yeah, but then you can start maybe taking things, and at some point you play h3, maybe even g4.
But,
and, you know.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think that it's problematic for.
Yeah, so this is problematic. So let's go to the next one. We have the two grandmasters. Sorsko against Bayer. We have Poland against France.
And now it's actually hanging on f7
Yeah.
and on b6. So
things have developed in a good way for white. So we had king f1, rook ac8. I think we had this position actually, and knight a5 was played. Queen b6, which is a mistake. So, and this is difficult. The computer says queen a8. I mean, you have to be
cool to play that.
Yeah, you have to be very cool.
But it's not completely impossible to play that because you want to change. You want to change. You know, swap off pieces, and now you're rook d8.
And you're basically just keeping the pawn formation. But he didn't do that, and this is typical. When you're under pressure, you tend to make subpar moves, and he did queen b6, because now suddenly we see this. And suddenly all these pieces are potentially under attack because of this.
Knight d6 is very strong.
This is so suddenly it's just, and I forgot to mention this guy. So suddenly four pieces can be attacked.
So what happened?
He played b4, knight d6, exchange, and now we see it's very difficult to keep everything here because.
And they played rook a8. That was his idea.
Yeah, he played there.
And then we have rook c4.
Rook c4. Yeah, and let's see. Rook c4, rook b4, king g6, rook b6. It's not won yet. There's still a game.
But
there we saw the strength of
the grandmaster
of Sorsko. And I would say he is, at least on paper, a better player than the Frenchman. And I think he showed why here. So that was that. So let's go to the next game. We have not so much has happened in this position. Let's see what happened. So we had this bishop h6 move came suddenly, and I think this is very instructive because very often in the King's Indian, when you get to do this bishop h6,
you're always okay.
Then suddenly the game turns because the bishop that was not playing in the game suddenly is maybe the strongest minor piece. And this happened in the game, so we got this very advantageous exchange.
B8,
rook b8, knight b1, b5. Just expanding, why not, if you can. Knight d2, queen b6, king h1, king g7, bishop f3. I don't know the point of that move.
No, he wants to swap off with knight g4.
Knight g4, yeah.
Can you play h5 here, maybe?
Yeah, you could.
But of course, maybe you don't want to play it because you are weakening your...
On the other hand, maybe you can play g4, rook g1, and you have this guy here. So
and a4, h4, you play g5 so yourself. Okay, so maybe
something else, rook c8.
But then rook c8,
maybe something like this.
More.
Black is not winning or anything, but he's just better.
But I can say that it's close to be very, very difficult for white, this position. This can turn out in few moves. This can be terrible, you know.
Yeah. And
So rook c8 looks normal.
Kaido has a little bit more time, but they still have 14 moves to make, and that is with 14 minutes on the clock, 14 moves to make. That is not so good.
Okay, let's move on let's go back. Okay.
Yeah.
This was the equal position. This will be a draw.
Yeah.
I cannot see Rosenthal as losing this.
Excuse me, I have to
Yes, of course.
go and take some water. You can continue to
Of course.
expand on this because it's
Now in this position here, the only chance for white to win in this position is to go for the a7 pawn, but that is simply not easy to do, because the rooks are there and knight c5 and so on. So it's hard to say that Rosenthal is, with his experience and so on, is going to lose this one. So I think we move on. We have this Praneeth game. What has been happening here? Yeah, this was the mistake made by Black when he simply missed in the opening. Maybe you remember we had a position after here knight h5, b4, and here he played knight e5, and Tom is coming back.
Yes, now I'm back. Okay, so we've changed.
Yes, because it was.
Oh yeah, it was this game, yeah.
Because we had this game and it was a little bit interesting. B4
We
game.
had this sacrifice, and we had the suspicion that maybe Black was not fully prepared here.
He missed,
Yeah. And then it was knight e5, and then there was a take here, and f6, rook b1, and now it's all tactics. And of course, if you move the knight, then you lose the bishop, but white can play this, and rook b5, check. And knight d1 is a nice move because the bishop is hanging. So bishop b6.
Because if you take on e5, you simply play take on c5 and then castle short sider.
Yeah. Knight g6.
That looks good.
There are. It's not 100% comfortable. I mean, white has to do some dancing here to get everything out, but Black has not gotten his pieces out. The knight on g6 is a bit threatening. b7 is hanging, and the black queen is not really doing anything.
So at least rook d8, threatening something on d2.
So rook d8, bishop d3, bishop d7. So he got to take on b7,
trying
bishop
to get
b6.
some kind of
bishop c4. Yeah.
And now one problem is that rook c8. Rook a8 is the move that you want to play, but then you simply take on d7, winning immediately.
I think you even get mated actually. So you take here, take, and you get the check here.
King h7, knight f8,
King 7, you can
double
check, and then you send the queen up to h7. So in the game, bishop c8 was played. Now white can check and take the bishop if he wants to. Knight e7 should be winning. Yeah.
Is it white to play here?
It's white move. I would. I mean, it's not. You can move the rook, but what about this check? King h8.
Take on c8. Oh, okay.
Oh, maybe it's not so clear. Let's see.
Take. Okay, no, that was mistake probably.
What is the problem here?
Queen to g6.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but it doesn't work, right?
Rook g8, maybe simply. And your queen is away. That is.
Oh yeah. or
this is
f5. The queen. And suddenly you have made a miss. This is easy to miss actually. And actually the computer says that even though white is a piece up for only a pawn, black has the better position in this situation. So Okay, bishop c8 is a bit tricky. Maybe we should just, play a simple move like this and keep everything.
But what is black threatening now? With the bishop on c8, you need to get the rook to c8 to make any pressure. This is simple.
Should be fairly simple.
Okay, bishop a6 maybe then.
Yeah, maybe bishop a6.
And if you cannot take on e6, that's quite important. Huh?
But you can take
you can
this
take
one.
On e6, yeah, maybe.
And slowly but surely, white is taking over. So this is winning. I think we should go back to the top game.
Yes, please.
Because this is where it all is decided.
Oh, this looks...
So...
What has happened? Yeah. He played c4, huh? d4.
He played d4 castles, and he played the c4 move, which I think it's not a good move. I mean, it's not a good position, but I think it was the right move in this situation to try to, make black a bit uncomfortable.
So what happened? It took an f5 or? Yep.
Yeah. Sivak took, and he took on d4.
I thought about this, but after queen d4, at least you are threatening to play queen a7. Oh, you should play this move. Okay. And f6 now. Was that played?
Yeah. Okay. And now c6. That's a cool move in my book because on knight e7 you can just take it with the bishop. And it's just now it's a technical. Black will have like 3 pawns up, something like that. It's just too many pawns.
So knight b6.
So knight b6 was played. Queen f5. Rook ad1. And now he unleashes on the king side. And we see this knight that was actually quite good is not doing anything. It's just standing there. This is completely over, I would say. The only small glimmer of hope is the times. So 4 minutes for Sivak against 20 minutes for Trost.
c5 was played.
c5. Now it's really bad. Look at the evaluation bar. It has reached the bottom marking there, and we can see here that
bishop takes c5.
The evaluation is actually -10, which is more than a queen.
That's a lot. So if you take...
So there are several options here. I think this looks like a very...
and the point is, if you play knight d7 check, rook...
Well,
this is one. There are two different choices here.
Let's just see this.
King c7.
King c7. I guess king a7 is also possible. Then maybe knight c8. I don't know.
Exactly.
But maybe this move. And what happens now? What's the point with this?
No, this is just lost.
That's the point. The point is that it's lost. That's a bad point.
So go back to c5.
And actually, black is threatening to mate here by taking. There is a threat to take.
And then give it.
King takes, and then you have queen g4, and it's mate on f3 or h3. Or f3. It's mate on f3. Sorry, not on h3. On f3, it's mate. Yeah. So c5.
And if it takes on c5, come on now. Come on. What is your point, Edwin? Okay, take on a knight d7 check. Rook take.
Now you get this.
Queen take.
Now we get
take here, and now you have to find a good move, but it's difficult.
Well, you could take
mate on f3. Or no, you're not yet.
But you have this check here. It's a nasty one.
And then queen f3.
And then it's mate on f3.
I guess that is the last chance to go. I think he will play this.
Knight d7.
Did he take?
No, he played bishop c7.
He played bishop c7. Okay.
Maybe and he has only 2 minutes.
And now if you play knight d7 check, what is happening then?
I think king goes. Maybe. Can you take now? No, you cannot take because you don't have queen f2. So you have to move the king, so you go here. Yeah, you can play this position. But no, we should have taken on c5. Now there is some chances.
Small chances, I say.
So
let's go back. Bishop c7. Okay, let's see. Do you have anything else?
You can move the queen.
Queen to f2 or what?
Queen f2 maybe.
But you have so many pawns that you're.
Yeah, but I think bishop c7 was not the best move.
It wasn't.
Now at least we have a knight on b6, and if at some point we manage to get to the 8th,
it can be checkmate.
We have a mate on, so you could have some something like this with the king standing here on a7. So at least there is.
What is the time? 15 against 2 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. So this is. So, but I think you don't want to play knight d7 because.
What about g4?
Yeah, but then we can.
Now I just try to play for tricks,
But let's say we do. We play it extremely simple, and then we take this.
And then I take back.
And then we take this.
And then I give you a check, and I take rook. That was the point.
No, this was the point. Okay.
And if you take,
I start with taking, and then you take here.
And now the idea was.
Now I go here.
And then rook d6.
Yeah. And now should we go with the pawns?
But I mean, we're speaking about ghosts.
We're talking about the ghosts. Yeah, and if you go here, you have this move.
Yes,
that's the point, right? Because exchanging would be immediately lost. Yeah, well, there's some point, but maybe this is also lost because you can play this. That's actually nice.
Yes, but this will not happen.
And there's a mate down here.
And you cannot protect
No,
this.
you have to take the rook, and then it's.
You have not good chances. Okie dokie. So still a win, most likely. But now the question is for Edwin: where is my best chance?
Yeah. Okay, we leave this now.
I think
because
I think it will be queen f2 actually.
Maybe.
So
things are happening.
You see,
yeah,
Eric is playing on.
So there was there was this and bishop e2, and here he played the bishop b5. Okay,
and then you can actually play b3. Yeah.
Yes, this is possible.
But on the other hand...
But then you take on f4.
Yeah, and then I take on c4 and then on f4.
Yeah, but then your c3 is going.
And then your d6 is going.
Yeah, sure.
And it's probably an equal game.
Yeah, probably equal game, yeah.
So it probably will be a draw after all.
But he played knight g4 here and actually...
Playing tougher, yeah.
After knight g6... now the computer at least gives... We can see the evaluation bar going up.
Yeah,
so half a pawn advantage here for white.
Yeah, actually, I think that white is slightly better. Take on f6, g take f6, and then the question is, because the knight is very strange on g6, you can even play g3,
So you want to take?
Yeah.
And then you want to take again?
Yeah, maybe.
Or do you want to play f5 maybe?
No, or g3, just to keep, the knight away. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is,
Why not? Still, black is still a pawn up. I mean, we have to remember that. But okay, it's not the best pawn. It's a pawn on c4. And as you said before, b3 is always a possibility.
But maybe...
But I don't know.
Well, he's fighting.
He's fighting. It's a fighting game. And again, we should always...
This happened after g6. This happened. Now the question is, okay.
Look at the times.
Because you can maybe... Okay, take on e5 is also possible. Try to get in with your rooks to, for example, if you take f take e5, f take e5, I think you'd have to play that. And then you have moves like rook f6, rook d8, and bishop g5.
Okay. And what if I just play? Aha, you have bishop c4.
Exact. Bishop g4, yeah.
I mean bishop g4. Yes.
And now you threatens to take on g6, huh?
Ah, this is not so bad. So maybe fe5.
That seems stronger, yeah. And how is this position?
No, but I
now
think
now at least, you know, there are chances, you know.
Yeah. But again, Eric has put himself in a problematic situation
When it comes to time.
because he has only 3.5 minutes.
8 minutes left.
And Sokolovsky has 13 minutes or 14 minutes.
But it's not so difficult moves here, you know. You can just play on, and it seems like white is not in you know, you're not in a danger to lose.
No. Somehow black managed to lose his activity here. I don't know where he went wrong, but I have a feeling there was some of the queen exchange. I think was perfectly fine. Bishop e2. Maybe here he should have played something better. I don't know, but maybe he shouldn't have protected this pawn. I don't know. Maybe this move.
Take on c4.
Take on c4.
Okay, it's a little bit uncomfortable, maybe for black.
Maybe, yeah.
But with some good moves here, probably you make it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's unclear. So let's take the next game because things are happening everywhere.
This is simply over.
Yes. So what happened in this game? So we had we had
already
already
trick. We saw this trick. Yeah.
Actually, here he played h5. We liked that. Queen e2, and now he made a real howler. A terrible move, actually. Because after c5, it's very difficult. And this was very clean way of solving everything. Yeah. So this position is really horrible for black, and he never got around to attacking this king. So now he has no counterplay. Looks difficult.
Yeah. Also, as one move that you like is queen c3.
Yeah, something like that.
Just to put pressure on and you give a guard to the rook. And now there is no way for. You know, because if you move down your rook, you just play, you know, even queen king to h3 might be safe, you know.
And also white has the time advantage. 15.
No, white will win this.
Against one.
He's playing quite good, this Nico Chasin.
Yeah, the American,
Young American.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before, but he's a coming star.
But some of these countries, they have so many talents, you know. Okay.
So here we have the Grandmaster meeting.
And white is pushing I can see the plan, you know, b6, b7, rook c8, and b8.
It looks like a very, very strong plan. And what black has managed to get the pawn on the king side. But I think white has basically sacrificed this pawn. It happened, let's see, go back here. We had this position, I think. I think this was the position, yeah. Rook c1, winning, and g4 was played. h5, he took it. And now he just started pushing, just giving the pawn simple moves, and here we are. And it's as you said, you just go here and you go here, and then the rook comes here, and then you take
knight f6.
Okay, knight f6.
Maybe even now b6 and b7.
Yeah, I want to do this.
Yeah, I try to
go here?
Yeah, something like that.
Let's go.
And now king e7.
You mean king?
King f6 with idea key. Yeah.
Rook c7. The problem is f7, right?
And king e7.
Now this move is strong.
And if you take, this is a winning rook endgame. Of
Should
course.
be winning, right?
But I mean, it's more like when you play. You can also
play.
You
can play this.
But wait, knight c8 and take on d7. You will get the knight extra as well.
Here.
No. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Okay.
But anyway, This game is winning for white.
Yep, good.
We don't have to dig too deep into that. Something has happened. White managed to exchange bishops. And that changes the dynamics quite a lot. So let's go back. Let's see what happened.
Here we have an important thing. I realized, okay, in the end position. Okay.
So we had the, we were very happy with
Black's play.
play. King G, Bishop F3, Rook F7, Bishop G4.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Yeah.
try to do something.
But here
That was not the best.
you allow this one.
Yeah, but he missed. He must look at now. He missed one move here, and now Knight C2 is very strong because if you take on B2, you have Rook B1, Rook A1, Rook B1, Rook A1, and the Queen is.
Yeah, there's a perpetual on the Queen. Perpetual Queen threat, right?
He must have missed this one.
So
Queen missed this trick.
Yeah, and he has to take. Because if he moves away, then white takes on D6, right?
Yeah.
So what can you do?
Something smart.
No, but this is, I think he will take on
Yeah.
B2.
Yeah,
Okay, so we had the Rosenthalis game.
a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but that what gives these games interest.
Yeah, of course.
A human perspective.
No, but it's more like, there are a lot
Yeah,
of
you
tactical
like to
mistakes.
see like to see the perfect play, but
Yes, I want to see the perfect play. Come on.
we go to this game.
That is a perfect no.
So let's see what happened here. We are looking at the we can call it the sort of final, semi-final, or something like that. The final will be tomorrow. But if one of the guys wins this game, he is set for victory in the Rilton Cup, I would say. Because tomorrow he might get a draw maybe, and if you win this, you
But
already
this is
have.
simple win now.
Yeah, but let's see what happened.
Okay, what happened?
We were just going to look at this. And
Okay.
so we had this position, and there were some. And here we said Bishop C5 was simple, but he didn't want to do that, so we went here. Queen F2 he played, okay. And Sivok, cool as always. Cool as a cucumber, they say. He played G4.
G3.
Take.
Yeah, I thought it was a G3.
Take.
Why didn't you play G3?
Well, horrible position, right?
Yeah, but look at after G3. It's much better, I think, because after G3 you can. No. After in this position here. No, well, okay, you're winning still. Okay.
I mean, let's count the pawns.
Okay, I give up.
2 pawns up, and the third is going, and we have strong. Well, it's a relative thing. Maybe
okay,
there are some.
I just thought it was a better chance.
Yeah,
but
maybe. I don't know. He took here, takes, and unfortunately there are no tricks. I mean, you would like to play like Rook E8 or something like that, but
so what did he do?
He played Rook E3. Doesn't look so impressive. King A7, getting out of problems there. Knight back.
And now the king is even safe,
Yeah, Queen G5. So this is the position. It's getting more and more technical, I would say, because now there are threats against F3. There's a threat to take on C5 with the queen.
I think he will even give up, but he didn't.
Now it's actually mate, according to the computer.
But take on F3 and Queen F5 is simple, and swap the queens.
Yeah, he played this. It's still mate, actually. It says mate in 35 moves. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't think that's correct.
Well, I think it's correct, but
I don't believe it.
but I don't think. But I don't think he will play it.
I don't think the computer can analyze 36 moves.
Yeah, like I said. And now take on c5 check. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then swap queens.
Now it's technical, but it's very simple technique. You don't need to be.
You take on c5 check and you check on h2 in the end as well. You know. Okay, so Vitaly Sivuk will be alone.
It's not over.
No,
but it's. I think resignation is. How do they look?
No, Edwin doesn't look too happy. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, he swapped off queens. He saw it.
And then he can play like rook h1, you know, and then he takes on h2 with check, and very, very nasty guy.
But then h4 comes, you know, and he has good chances.
Then you check and take the a pawn maybe. But then you have rook e7 and take on h7.
Oh.
Then you have a pass pawn. But
he will take on h2 here.
Maybe he will play like that. Yeah, maybe simple chess. And then you have maybe bishop g1 or something. Well, rook h4, take on h7. But I mean, it's lost.
No, but maybe rook e7. Go for knight a5 and a fantastic attack.
Yeah, we'll see. At least it's not forced mate anymore.
Okay, anyway, there is no doubt that black is going to win this game, so move on.
No, it's simple. So, Eric?
What happened?
Yeah, he didn't play like we said.
No, because he could go for a d6 pawn instead.
He took on e5, fe5, and he played rook d1.
Because now rook d8, you still have bishop g5, you know.
And bishop g4.
So he has got some chances here.
Yeah. No, I don't doubt that at all. Then there's another question: will he win or not? That's not 100%.
But now at least there is no doubt that it's white who is in the driver's seat, because you have the weaknesses of a double pawn on c4 and c5. And
could you go for something like knight f4? Is that possible? Or is that very bad?
No, take it and take on d6, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking if you could somehow manage to...
Because now you...
Yeah, you can always play bishop f3. I was thinking about rook e8 and things like that, trying to attack, but your bishop is not so... But let's say we go here, just see.
Yeah, let's play bishop f3.
And now I was thinking, you know, something like this and coming here. And try to, you know... But maybe you can just pick up these pawns.
Yeah, well, you can play rook f6 and take on f4 also.
That's also possible, yeah. But then maybe b2 is falling. We also have this, I don't know.
There's no doubt white is clearly better now, I think.
We got to this position. After rook d1, he played rook a8, which probably is better than what I suggested. Rook takes and rook here.
Now he has to go back.
Rook d1, yeah. So this is the position. Yeah, the computer says it's very good for white. To me it's not obvious that it's so simple. I don't know. But you have to watch out here because it's I don't know.
But actually here we have an interesting position, because this is not so easy now to take on c4. Here you want to play bishop f3, but I'm not sure that is a good move actually. Because then you have maybe knight... No, that okay.
Yeah, maybe knight h4. And then you play with opposite colored bishops.
Exactly.
And then
so here you probably need to take on c4.
Maybe not so easy.
Yeah, but now you have the pair of bishops, and you have an extra pawn on the king-queen side, so Erik has good chances.
True.
Okay, this is simply winning.
This is winning.
This is winning.
Also winning, but he didn't play b6, but he moves the king up, which is also perfectly fine.
It is okay.
And as we said, this game ended in a draw. This is really a disappointment for Kaido, because he played an excellent game up to the point when he suddenly allowed this...
he missed this trick.
Yeah, there was a trick. So we had this position. And here he should do something else. But I mean, again...
But rook f8 is a normal move in that sense.
It's a very normal move.
So, but here,
but
this was a mistake.
The problem is that but the problem is you allow
counterattacks.
Yeah, and the rook c6 and all these things. So after this and this, there was this trick, and now you have to take, and then we get this draw. Yeah, well defended by Raya.
Yes.
Again, we see how important it is to defend and not be depressed by a bad position.
But it's also interesting that many of the games, they are good from a strategical point of view, but in the end, it is the tactics that will decide the games. Always these small tactics.
So you cannot rely on pure strategy. And we see Kaido when he played against Edwin, he was also trying to win with strategy, right? But in the end, he fell for the tactics. So this is the problem. And I think here we see the advantage of the young players.
Yes.
Because they don't know so much strategy. They have to calculate, and they are always calculating. While the older players, they rely on strategic evaluations, and they are a little bit reluctant to calculate, I think.
Yes.
So
I know very well what you say.
Yeah, I know about this also. That's why I'm saying it. I'm a living proof.
We are in this category, both of us. Okay,
so then we have Gorstein against Rosenthalis.
And he has managed to get a strategic position.
Yeah. No, but he knows how to do it. So we should follow his... but on the other hand, he never gets any advantage. That's the problem. Exactly. But here he has probably a draw, even though I would still say white is slightly better. Slightly.
No, I think
very slightly.
I think it will be a draw.
So then we have the Praneeth game. And let's see how he did it, because there was knight e7 here. Let's go back. There was actually it was this position, bishop c8.
What did he play?
Now he played a really fascinating move. Rook f1.
Oh, that's nice.
And the point is, of course, that after this is a forced mate.
Oh, that's lovely.
Check here.
Of course.
Check. And mate.
Okay, good. Well played, rook f1. Because what you do after rook f1 is that you're ready with knight e3.
Yeah, suddenly you solve this logistic problem of getting the rook out. And since black cannot take the rook, we didn't see that.
No, that was nice.
And I don't think black saw it in the game either.
No, but black didn't see much in this game. No, I don't say. I'm sorry, I'm not nice to say that.
I think that Garg Ardaya
had made one big mistake.
If he had played a less exact player than Praneeth here, he might have won with this. Because it's not so easy for white. I mean, so anyway, let's see what happened. So there was rook d6, protecting e6. So now we actually threaten to take the rook, but knight e3 threatens the queen. Okay, queen a5, and now a check. King h8, knight g6, king j8. This was just to gain some time. He did it actually twice, and then he took. Very good. And queen g6.
Threatening mate.
Yeah. So,
and there is a check on d2.
But king f3.
But king f3, the king is safe. Yeah.
So he played bishop c7. Bishop d3.
That's also a threat.
Mating threat. f5. Knight c4.
Oh, threatening.
Queen a2. Rook b2. Queen a4. Knight d6.
But now we must have given up.
Yeah. Bishop f4. Actually, the game seems to be going on, but there is only one result, and that is that white is going to win this. But they still play. Why not? It's a training also. You can play. Sometimes you have.
No, the queen. I think queen e6, rook e8. That was the trick. Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. So we go back to the top game, and
he's fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, we suspect that this will end in a resignation, probably pretty soon. 4 pieces down, 4 pawns down. So, and then we have Blomqvist. Let's see what's happening here.
Now we have some questions about this with here we have some about how players are allowed to move around tables and so on. For example, like you have trainers coming looking at your pupils' games and so on.
Do you think that matters?
No, I have questions about that, and I say that it is allowed to do that if it is like an open tournament like this, and the people are allowed to in the venue. But of course, you always are a bit cautious with this. Also as a trainer, you try to avoid, this kind of situations and so on. But of course, you are allowed to move around and take a look. Yeah. Okay.
We will get to it when it comes up. Anyway, here we have this game, very interesting. And we said that in this position, white is better, but black fought back with rook a8, takes, rook a1, rook d1, bishop c6. And we got this exchange. King f2, knight f4.
G3 or?
Yeah, he played rook d8.
Aha, okay. Aha, he took and okay.
Rook f7. But we can see from the evaluation board that the advantage is not so big now. It's decreased.
No, because take on f7, rook b1, I guess, huh?
Yeah, you should attack here.
Take on f7 and take on f4 and take on b2.
You go here, and okay, there's a check here, but I guess you
G6,
go here, and then you can take this.
Check, king
e3. Then we have check, and here, and now you take this.
And now you don't have much.
There is still
okay,
some
you can play
maybe.
bishop d3 check and rook c4 maybe.
Something like that.
And we can have this fascinating endgame.
It could be an ending with one pawn each.
Or it could be bishop and rook against a rook.
That's also a possibility.
No, this will continue because Erik is still a little bit ahead, yeah?
Yeah. He has less time, but the position is now so simple that time is not a factor anymore. So let's go to the this game. Yeah, he has 2 pawns up. I think this is a very safe rook ending. You have the 4 against 3 plus an extra pawn.
That's good.
That's good. That's what you need. Because if you had only the b pawn, if we take it, let's say we take away this, then it's not so clear. Or if you take away this, also not so clear.
That's right.
But with both, it should be easy win. So we don't have to look at that. Yeah, there was a move here, but nothing has changed fundamentally. Then we have Rosenthalis, same thing. Nothing has changed really. Yeah, and these are the games we have looked at. So we are just waiting for, and I think we had a This is.
And he will give up soon here.
Yeah, we'll see him resign. Maybe we have the 15-minute delay, so most likely he has already resigned.
So that will mean that Vitaly Sivuk, can he be ready to? Can he be already winning the tournament? No.
So if he wins, let's see. He has 7 points. Erik and Sokolovsky, I think, will be a draw. So these guys will have 6 points each.
Okay, that's right. So they have the chance to.
But Chazin is winning against Parkov, so he will have 6.5. So he will play Sivak tomorrow. Have they played before? Let's see. No, they have not played.
Okay.
So that seems to be the final. And then we have, that's it. So it will be Sivak against Chazin, and one of them has to win, right? Because Sivak, he will get 7.5 with the draw, and no one can catch him. So it will either be the Swedish Ukrainian champions, Vitaly Sivak. He's the favorite, but we have this up and coming Nico Chazin, maybe we should call him. I don't know. Who will have 6.5 points. That will be a good game, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is that Vitaly Sivuk will most likely be white in the last round, because it's black today. Isn't that so? If Chasen is white today, most likely it will be like that. Or what? How much? What? Well, we can take a look.
Well, we can check
Because that can be of importance.
We can check. We can check the colors, and we see he has Sivuk has 4-4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Chasen has
and
got.
Then Chasen has also 4-4.
Okay, what happens then?
Yeah, who knows? Then we have color change, and since since Nico played white and Sivuk was black, I think it will color change gives Sivuk white in the last.
Yeah, I guess this is the way, but
sometimes
it's the lower. They have like.
But it's very unlikely that
mm-hmm.
gets too white and Sivuk too black when you can do the switch. I think that goes against the sort of
logic, but sometimes.
Yeah, logic is not.
It's not part of it.
Maybe not the only factor. That's the problem.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I think that's.
Should we summarize?
Yeah. Okay. So I would say this was a bit of a nervous round.
Yes.
Trost. I mean, he fought valiantly, but his opening was horrible, and he played it fast. And I don't know what happened. Maybe he had played this in his famous bullet games, and it had worked like a charm. But here it didn't work at all.
Because he played so fast after knight c3, and suddenly, after knight c3, you've also after just 1 minute or two.
Then suddenly,
it was just lost.
I think something went wrong.
Yeah, I must have. Sometimes you mix lines.
Yeah, he mixed lines, and he had checked some other line, and black made some other move, and then f4 was so strong, and suddenly he had this very simple knight e5, bishop g4, and g5. Those three moves together secured the black position.
Yeah. Okay.
So very, very, and Eric, not in top form, I would say.
No, but he's playing well.
Yeah, he's
but it's like he doesn't have this little bit of edge.
The last straw,
But of course, if he wins this game, then we will say something else maybe. But everything now seems to be in line with that this game will be a draw.
But then the question is, if he wins, will he play Sivuk or will it be Chasen? We don't know that.
No,
it's not clear. So it will be interesting either way. And we also have another factor. We didn't get the report. We will get a report on norms.
Yes.
And tomorrow we will have a norm report. And we have lots of candidates for norms here. We have Trost, we have Sokolovsky, we have Parkov, we have Chasen, and there are
maybe Jan Malek as well.
We have lots of possibilities.
But what is interesting is like Vupala Praneth is now moving up and got 6 points.
Yeah.
So he will also be in the race.
Yeah.
So the question is, of course, if the one playing with Sivuk is ready to go for a win, and how much they are ready to, when it comes to sacrificing to try to win.
Let's check Chasen, because what's important for him
is a norm. Yeah,
is probably the GM norm. He might already have done 3 GM norms. Maybe it doesn't matter for him. Maybe he just needs to raise his rating. Then he will definitely play, I think. But
if it's for a norm, then he will play a quick
what
draw.
we can see here is that his performance rating is not. You need to have a performance of 2600.
But he will win today. Don't forget.
Yes. So he might be
over 26. I believe.
But maybe not. We don't know for sure. He might need a win in the last round.
Also because actually Sivuk has got lower rating than you. He was almost to 600.
Because if we look, we can see he has played here. He played very well in the beginning, but then he made a draw and he lost against Eric. So this loss against Eric set him back, and then he again started playing lower rates. So he hasn't had such a strong opposition actually. So he might need a win tomorrow. I hope he needs a win that, because then we get the best game, I think.
Of course.
Yeah. So let's look at Sivuk. And let's see. Let's take in his result and see what he has done. So he started by beating 22-63 guy from India.
Fantastic result so far.
And then he played draw with an FIDE. He had some FIDE Masters, 3 FIDE Masters in a row, but he took 2.5 from that. Then he beat an international master from India. A draw against this very young Borgonkar.
Yeah, and that game, if you remember, Borgonkar played a very safe line and so on, played well, so it was not easy to do anything in that game. So
and then he has had two wins against grandmasters,
and now against Edwin.
So he's
a really good result.
He's sort of speeding up. He's putting on the heat here now in the end.
Good.
Yeah, looks very nice. Okay, so with that, I would say we are finished for today, and we will start again tomorrow. When is it tomorrow? Is it at 3 o'clock or is it 12? Yes.
So it's 12 tomorrow.
Yeah. So
tomorrow.
My God. So yeah.
That's dangerous, Tom.
That's dangerous. So tomorrow we have to be here early. I think we should be here at 9. Just to prepare.
At least some of us.
Yeah, some of us. Anyway, tomorrow at 12 o'clock we will start again, and it will be a fascinating final round. I think Sivuk is the favorite to win the tournament, but we have a few outsiders. We have Eric, and we have this young guy chasing.
And of course, if not the least, if Eric wins this final game, but we believe it will be a draw.
You could say that chasing is chasing Sivuk.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.